Welcome to the Bloodcast, the podcast where we talk about superhero gadgets and technology that has made its way into the real world. I'm your host, the Blood Spider, and this week I'm joined with two of the juggernauts of the web shooter / web fluid community, the Amazing and the Human Spider. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being returning guests on my show.
Yeah, man, of course. Anytime.
So how you guys been doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Yeah, this COVID shit's pretty nuts, huh?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Staying safe, social distancing.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to get you guys and talk about your process of actually, I wouldn't say necessarily making a web shooter, but coming up with like the design. Like, what is your process from like either starting with an actual physical sketch to getting it to the CAD to 3D printing to whatever?
Well, for me personally, sometimes I start with sketches, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the project. A lot of times, most of my projects are 3D printed because that's really my main and kind of only available manufacturing tool, especially right now with this pandemic. And because of that, there will be kind of two subsets of things that go into a design. There will be 3D printed parts and then the parts that are not 3D printed that you buy. And usually the ideas are formed around the parts that you buy. You say, oh, these could be useful in a web shooter, for instance.
Right, what you can refurbish.
Exactly, yeah. And so you sort of get those components and you design the rest around. So sometimes for me, it even starts with CAD. It starts with CAD in terms of building something around. First, I usually model the off-the-shelf, commercial off-the-shelf components, and then model the 3D printed parts around that so that they will function correctly.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
In terms of recent projects that I've done, I haven't done a fluid web shooter in quite a long time, but the spring web shooter that I recently made with the cartridges, that turned out to be a project where I kind of had like a really vague idea in my head, and I did write it down I drew some stuff up on paper, but once I started working with CAD, only then could I really get to the design.
Right, yeah.
And I actually had several types printed already in terms of building up from having just a spring and then a spring with some sort of, locking mechanism such that it prevents a projectile from being shot until you want it to. That sort of mechanism took a little bit of time to develop just the shape of it because you want that to be included with the cartridge and you want the spring to not be part of the cartridge so you don't have to have a billion springs.
Right.
So that was a challenge for that one specifically. And so I actually printed several very different things, sort of steps leading up. So first I would have just, a spring, and then I would have, a spring with a locking mechanism, and then I would have a spring with a locking mechanism included in a cartridge, and, just kind of working up from there. And then it's small tweaks from the first design that works until the final design. And I usually print along the way, because that's the only way to test.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good method.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Human Spider?
It's actually really similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually just come up, get inspired, get an idea, and I almost always just CAD something up immediately, just that I have something, and yeah, I usually buy the parts and then just kind of design or model something up around them. But lately I've been modifying parts, especially with like this new valve I've been working on with you guys. I've been modifying brass parts to try and make something. But yeah, it's almost always exactly like what the amazing described. Very, very similar process.
Okay. See, I mean that is a good process, and honestly, see, I just suck so much at CAD. You guys like. That's why I like I depend on you guys for making web shooters.
But we can depend on you for the fluid, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
See, at
definitely.
least it's a fair trade off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I don't know, man. Like I could tweak your guys' designs a little bit and like, you know, make stuff longer, but when it comes to like actually like designing it on there, which is weird because like, you know, I could draw and shit too.
Mhm.
But like I just can't figure out how to make like good shapes.
So you have some 3D printed components on your suit, right, Blood?
Yes, I have the belt pouches that I have, and then I have the cartridge holsters that Spider Slayer made.
Right.
And I have the knuckles
Mhm.
on the gloves, and then the mouthpiece, and then Human Spider's goggles.
So did you CAD any of those things?
I CAD'd the belt box,
Uh-huh.
and then I CAD'd the knuckles.
Yeah. I mean, those. I mean, I've seen those in person. You think that's a pretty good job?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's nothing super special.
Well, I mean, the difficult thing with 3D printing is just kind of designing the parts so that they fit the way you want.
Yeah,
And the difficult thing with 3D printing is because it's very low tolerance manufacturing. You have to make sure that you can't deal with the normal tolerances for the fit you want. Usually, there's kind of a interference fit. You want there to be like you on your design on your drawing, the two parts like the hole will actually be smaller than the peg.
yeah,
But if you do that with 3D printing, that's just not going to fit. So an interference fit with 3D printing, I usually do 0.1 millimeters in difference in radius. And that would be a clearance fit if you were doing a normal. It would be a close fit, but it would be a clearance fit if you were doing normal manufacturing like machining. But for 3D printing, everything's different. So I think it just takes practice
yeah.
to get that right.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. And you know, I am getting a little bit better at it. But you know what I do, and I kind of find myself doing a lot, like it's I guess modifying the 3D print after it's come off the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like either with
Yeah.
heat or sanding or something of that sort.
Yeah.
You know what?
And-
Like those knuckles, I made them, but they were pretty flat. You know, like I made them flat, and they're really like they weren't curved to the knuckles really good at all. You know. And then I actually glued them onto the glove, and then used a heat gun to like form them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good way of doing it. I mean, that's perfectly valid in terms. Not everything can be done with 3D printing.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that's just that's kind of something that I've been finding myself doing a little more so than being able to perfect something in CAD where like I can my hole was like a little bit too small for this screw, and instead of going to buy another one, I'll just like stick something hot in there and make the hole wider.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah. And I mean, I would imagine, the same process with the web fluid comes with this too. Like, I mean, at least for me, obviously everybody knows that my OG starting base formula is the silly string formula from Brain Ion. And it's just research and trial and error. That's really it.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Human Spider, but I know that for me, since a couple years, I haven't really had the patience or space to test new web fluids. It's been like, I'm pretty much just living out of one room, and I don't want that room to get gross.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Human Spider, you had great ideas like within the past year about the dual fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
formulas
Well,
and stuff like that.
for me, it's always the web shooter that's the issue. Like, because like we've experienced with the valves that we've tried to design, it's kind of like a different story with it when you start dealing with higher pressure or higher viscosities. It's
Yeah.
you need something that holds up to that, and
Hmm.
so I've been sort of stuck there. I just want to design something that can you can almost put any chemical in it, and
Yeah.
it'll be able to withstand any type of corrosion or
Hmm.
anything going through it. That's really what I'm caught up with right now.
And
That's a very good goal. I mean, once you achieve that, then you're pretty much set to do whatever web fluid you want.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember one of Spider Device's videos when he discussed basically all of this in one of his
Hmm.
little web
Web
talks.
talks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how you almost have to design the web fluid and the web shooter like simultaneously, sort of to accommodate
Hmm.
one another,
yeah,
because you will
Yeah.
run into like certain hurdles that
Yeah.
they're tricky to overcome. But
Hmm.
Blood Spider, you've been doing a great job with that.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying, man. And, but that's also like a cool thing with this web fluid in particular is because it completely, dissolutes in the uh, propellant.
Mhm.
So it turned when it's in the actual chamber, it turns into a milky like water viscosity, so it can flow through a lot of things
Mhm.
easier. But the problem
Yep.
is like, for instance, the concealable nozzles. So you know how I made that like little extension nipple on it, and made it a little bit
Yep.
longer.
Mhm.
Okay, well that little space in there, just where before the like where the valve ends and the 3D printed part is where the fluid goes,
Yeah.
that exposed air part like clogs up all the fucking time because
Hmm.
the fluid solidifies in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's that's definitely something that we've run into before, and
yes, so
something
like
we're
I find myself like sticking like needles in there and stuff, before test to try and unclog it, and sometimes that doesn't even work because it's like rock hard in there.
yeah, yeah. Well, what we have to do is design like a valve where that space is that cavity, the length of it is reduced, kind of like how an aerosol, like a spray paint can works. The nozzle is like almost directly in front of where the valve opens up, so you
Yeah,
don't really deal with that as much. But
yeah,
yeah,
and I mean I think that can be achieved in this external spring
yeah,
setting. What is it? The XLRB, right? That's what they're called.
yeah,
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, it's not just you know the fluid is it's non-Newtonian, but in a sense that not many people have to deal with, because non-Newtonian usually means, because Newtonian fluid, the viscosity is a constant value,
Right.
but in Newtonian fluids you can't really define it in terms of that, where the viscosity is the scaling parameter, or the proportional parameter between the shear stress and the deformation, and that changes as you have more shear stress.
Right.
Then the deformation becomes relatively less in a shear thickening fluid, and relatively more in a shear thinning fluid. But this is a whole other level from that. This is a viscosity that's, you could say it changes depending on pressure or temperature, or
Right.
something
Yeah.
like, or it's different. You could model it as being higher closer to the nozzle and lower farther from the nozzle, and all that stuff. So it's a difficult thing. I'm actually hoping to do some fluid dynamic simulations on stuff like this, because I've been working a lot with CFD in my work, and I feel like it could be very applicable to this. So I have some plans in the future for that, in order to get a more kind of scientific model of the web shooter.
Yeah. No, that would be insanely impressive and helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably have to start out with just assuming Newtonian fluid, and then probably the easiest way to do that would be have the viscosity dependent on the pressure, i.e. atmospheric pressure. You make it so high that it's solid, and then at R134A's vapor pressure, it's around 90 psi, you make it, water viscosity.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's crazy how finicky this formula is. And like even with just the additive of 134A, because like I have made a viscosity of this formula where it almost feels like a piece of rubber. Like you can't even suck it up into a syringe, and the 134A will dissolve it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But if you add just a little bit too much, it's not going to the pressure is going to be too high where it's going to have like that impact, feel, as opposed to making the polymer change straight up out of the shooter and making the fun web lines. And it's just, even in temperature, like you were saying, I left one of these preformed cartridges in my car, and it was a little hot, and it was it separated all weird in the chamber, and it looked really weird. And then when it came out, it came out kind of like one of my older versions, like really boogery and slimy and just weird, because I don't know, just got too hot in there or what happened, but it's just a very finicky formula.
Yeah, it's definitely dependent on a lot of things. What interests me though is that you keep your without the R134A, when you do it, it's still a liquid. Yeah, I think that's interesting, because for me, at least when I first made this formula, like a few years ago, and I still try to do this way, I think, but the most recent time I made it, I modeled it after your method, so I probably did it more like you, and that was a long time ago. But I think I would always try to do it where there's no liquid, until the R134A is added, because I always felt like that was the whole idea, that the solvent, obviously there's some alcohol, but the solvent is primarily the R134A. Right. It's like a mixture of R134A and alcohol. And I think that was always the main point for me, because then the solvent needs to be what evaporates, leaving the solid behind, outside the web shooter. And so for me, you can see it in my web fluid tutorial from a few years ago. It would all be like solid ingredients, pretty much. The PMMA, and the I think all I added then was the polysorbate 80, and the alcohol, and I can't remember if there were any other solid ingredients, any powder. I mean, you add your stuff, but
I don't think back then there was.
Yeah, and it would just be kind of like it wouldn't mix well, because I would only add a little bit of alcohol. And it would just basically saturate this polymer powder, not to the point where it was liquid, but to the point that it was just a solid mass.
Yeah, right.
And then adding the R134A, and the R134A would be like, probably 70% of the whole fluid, in order to get that to be a liquid.
I've wanted to switch to your way for a while. I haven't been able to figure out a good way to do it.
Yeah, that's why I use the chamber.
Yeah. No, I wanted to make.
I mix everything in a chamber, so that I can have it pressurized and store it pressurized, so that the R134A stays liquid.
Yeah, it's like a web fluid beer tap, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I know. I wanted to make one of those so bad, and just drill it to the wall down here. So whatever.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, just have literally like a web fluid beer tap down here.
Serve it to your guests.
Yeah, there you go. Nice cup of web fluid, sir.
Can I get you guys anything to drink? We have polymers.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna do that to somebody now. So, human spider.
Yes.
You need to make this formula, bro.
Yeah. 134.
I mean, right? As of now, it's pretty much going to be like impossible for you to get anything unless you buy it all online.
True. I could search for other products that may contain it. But
yeah, I mean, I know the Huntsman figured out with the air horn can. That shit works. That is because it's got the 1112 tetrafluoroethane in it.
Yeah, that's R1348.
Yeah.
I will find that as soon as I
but
can.
But it has it has like the aerosol nipples on it, so it's hard to extract out of those cans.
Nah, I can make like some adapter, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think honestly, part of the reason for this is the fact that it's not easy for human spider to get access to R134A. But another reason is a lot of people overlook the fact that, quick history lesson, a lot of these fluorocarbons were phased out and made illegal.
Yeah.
Because they, put a hole in the ozone layer. And since then, the ozone layer has healed. And the ozone hole is kind of a misconception, isn't quite such a problem anymore.
Yep.
But, we still have global warming. We still have climate change. And, R134A is still a greenhouse gas.
Right, that's right. I thought it was the replacement to Freon 12.
It is, yeah that's right. So it has a insignificant ozone depletion potential. It doesn't really harm the ozone layer, but it's still a greenhouse gas. And if you want to know, it actually it pretty much, you hear a lot about carbon dioxide, and that is causing a big problem, but it doesn't have a very high global warming potential. In fact, a lot of these gases are measured in relation to carbon dioxide.
Right.
And that's because they all have a much higher potential than carbon dioxide. The only thing that makes carbon dioxide such a problem is that so much of it is put into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And R134A, has, I can just look it up real quick, but I think it's about like 1,000 or something, and then carbon dioxide would be 1. So Freon 12 was a previously used fluorocarbon.
Yeah.
And it had a global warming potential of 10,900. So they made that one illegal because that was depleting the ozone.
Yeah, because
R134A has global warming. What did you say?
I said that was everywhere. That Freon 12, that was in all the buildings, AC units, and everybody's car, and it was in everything.
It's funny because I was doing, this is a big tangent, but I was doing web shooter research, like almost a decade ago now. Maybe when I was like, 13 or so. And, I designing the web shooter and the web fluid at the same time. So I'm like, okay, I'm making the web shooter out of these materials, so I have to make sure that the web fluid is compatible chemically. And one of the things I found that had a vapor pressure in the range I wanted and a boiling point in the range I wanted, and potentially dissolved some polymers, but not the polymers that I was using to build the web shooter, was R12, Freon 12. And I actually tried to find places to buy it, only to find, that everyone has it like sold out, but it's actually, illegal. But there were, at that point, there were some systems that still needed it.
Yeah. But, freezers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think those are mostly phased out now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so R12 global warming potential, 10,900. Tetrafluoroethane, which is R134A, has 1430 global warming potential. And I believe that global warming potential is measured in relation to carbon dioxide. So, as like carbon dioxide has a global warming potential standardized to 1. So these are thousands of times more harmful to the environment than carbon dioxide, but not as much as put out there. So that's my soapbox.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that is good information.
Yeah.
There you go.
So in conclusion, I really like the kind of new ideas like Human Spider coming up with the dual fluid. We haven't found a way to make that work yet, but that is just a water-based formula, and so that would be a great green formula.
Yeah.
And I think we should try to look for solutions like that.
Green
You're talking,
alternatives.
so that's the sodium alginate and calcium calcium chloride, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Caviar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't believe when I tried that hydrogel fluid that it made those little balls out of the sodium alginate. Or not sodium alginate. Sodium no, what the hell is that stuff? Whatever is in
Calcium chloride?
no. Sodium pialcrite. I don't know. It's the super absorbent polymer.
Oh yeah. I remember you showed me that.
Yeah, it got you can extract it out of a diaper, but it's like infused in the cotton fibers. So what you have to do is you have to rip the diaper apart and just take the cotton out, and you pretty much just hand shred the cotton and put it in a bag, like a Ziploc bag or something, and you just shake that up, and all of the that polymer crystal will collect at the bottom of the bag, and then you just cut that out, take out any other cotton that you are was just remnant left in there, and I tried water, and the water made it like snow slushy consistency, and then I tried isopropyl, and it like beat it up almost like those like fucking Orbeez, It was just really weird, because it didn't mix at all. They all just like all of the crystals just like collected at the bottom, and then they just expanded the whole jar in like these like weird circular looking brain balls.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, well that didn't work, but maybe like web BBs or something. But yeah, that was really like, other than the silly string formulas, it's really the only one I kind of experimented with, other than the polystyrene one, but I was just kind of playing around with that one.
I got a long list of ones that I was looking at even before I started my channel. And then, of course, I think the first main one I showed on my channel was based in shear thinning fluid, xanthan gum.
Yeah, with the xanthan gum.
Water.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a small breakthrough for me. Obviously, it's nothing compared to what we have now, but this was like 2015. And I basically said to myself, you need something that's a liquid inside and a solid outside. So essentially, the weak version of that is just a dramatic increase in viscosity. And so I was like, okay, well, if you're not touching it when it's outside, it's going to be, thicker because it's shear thinning. And then I basically went from there. And that served me well for a while. And I just kind of got tired of it. So I'm happy that Brain Ion discovered the PMMA fluid, because I think that stuff's great.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that is amazing. And what were you using as your propellant for that? That was the isobutyl, right?
So that was just the propellant
that you were talking.
And like I said, I was always looking for chemicals that were sort of fit certain specifications. So I was always looking at things like boiling points. For instance, the boiling point, because I want the propellant to evaporate, obviously. And so the propellant has to be partially liquid and partially gas inside the chamber. That's how you keep a constant pressure, because new liquid always evaporates in order to fill the space that the gas, leaves, basically, propelling the fluid. And so I was always looking at things like, okay, is this boiling point in a temperature range that I can operate in? Which is why you used to see me dealing with the isobutane in a freezer, because after it was in the freezer, I could just pour it into the container, because that boiling point is just, around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which a lot of freezers operate in. And
so you just poured it in there like water?
Yeah, basically. And then I shut the thing, and then it returned to room temperature. And as it returns to room temperature, the pressure increases. That vapor pressure was about 30 psi. So obviously not as powerful as R134A. But the one thing that I was searching for a long time was a way to use isobutane in the solvent. But I think it must be something with the fact that isobutane is non-polar. And it didn't mix with a lot of polymers, and it definitely didn't mix with even things like water, because water is a big polar molecule. And if I had it, actually, when I there's something I was using even before isobutane in this, and that was a styrene-based formula. I have some very old videos of me using that. And it was interesting because when I shot it, it would just kind of create these wisps of tiny strands of polymers. You couldn't even see it with the camera. You could only see it with your naked eye. And it looked really cool. You could kind of just dress something in these strands. They were so thin though.
Yeah, but it probably looked like real spider webs though. Huh?
Yeah. Super weak though. I mean, but it was so cool, and I wanted to see, because this actually came about. The propellant I was using then was just compressed air. I would just compress air into this canister, and of course that pressure runs out very quickly because the air isn't partially liquid in the container. So as soon as fluid goes out, the air expands and the pressure decreases. Nothing evaporates to create new gas, and that was interesting. It would work best when the web shooter was almost empty, because then the mixture could kind of mix with the wisps. Otherwise, it was kind of hard for the fluid to come out. So I wanted to see, my hope was that when I found isobutane being close to these properties, that isobutane would be able to mix with this mixture and become a solvent for it. So if I had the solvent I was using back then was D-limonene. It annoyed the hell out of everyone else who lived in my house because it smelled like citrus. But I was using D-limonene to dissolve styrene, and I like D-limonene because it pretty much dissolves nothing else, in terms of polymers at least, dissolves nothing else but polystyrene. It's kind of made just for that. It's used as styrene cement, and so that's that, because then I know that the web shooter, the materials in there are going to be safe from it, which I thought was very attractive to me at the time. And so I was hoping that isobutane would be able to mix with this. So D-limonene is polar, and polystyrene is polar, which is why they mix. One of the reasons why they mix so well together. Isobutane is not polar, and what happened actually is that isobutane did mix with D-limonene, but it definitely did not mix with polystyrene. So when I put the styrene and D-limonene mixture together in this canister,
I already know.
I put the isobutane in. The result was that the D-limonene would leave the styrene and mix with the isobutane, and I would be left with this crazy random spiral of plastic inside this canister that was separate from the fluid. So that didn't work out at all, and then I had to move on to the shipping fluid. But I did have a polymer-based fluid when I was using compressed air, but that was more of a party trick than anything else.
I mean, you know what I've tried to do? Well, I'll tell two stories, and actually, Human Spider was present for one of these.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, you weren't physically present, but when I was when I was trying to fill up see if butane would work with the polystyrene fluid just for the hell of it with the lighter. And it like literally just like as soon as the butane touched that MEK styrene formula, it just turned straight into like back into styrofoam in the lighter, and it was just this like solid mass of plastic.
Yep, that sounds like pretty much exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, and then I tried with actually the arm cartridge that was originally made with the cheap valve one.
Yeah.
I filled that with the silly string web fluid, and then I actually put compressed air in there, and then I let it just, because obviously putting oxygen in that tank will cause the fluid to react in there, but if you wait a little bit, it will redissolve it again, and it will have a lot of pressure, but it will come out like this very thick foam, kind of like it almost like you can make like a web ball with it. You know what I mean? And it's very, very. I had a video where I was shooting it like that. It was one of my update videos, and it was like making like a lot of like weird split streams and stuff like that, and it was just kind of creating like these really cool web lines. But it had like pretty far capacity. Like I was shooting it at like maybe about 5 feet away from my target, and it still had like a lot of pressure left in there. So yeah, that was kind of a cool little experiment that I did with the compressed air in there. But you definitely have to let it like go through a whole another like redissolving process after you do that.
You should document these more often. even the failures, I'd like to see.
Yeah, I know. I honestly, I kind of want to make like a private vlog with all this shit, just for us. Because I mean, you guys already know how I fucking feel about sharing stuff.
Yeah. It's top secret stuff.
You guys should tell me about your Instagram DMs, because I don't hear enough about that,
bro.
And I don't get that because I don't have an Instagram.
I don't have I don't get those anymore. I kind of like closed mine off to specific or only like a small group of people.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, I don't deal with that anymore.
Yeah, you can totally set your shit to like private and you're like even for like it like if somebody even wants to follow you and like look at your stuff, like they have to send you a request. Like, you can set that up like that. But the problem is that there is the general age gap of this is anywhere from 11 to 16 to even people my age, 25, 26 year olds, but the problem is that there's a lot of fantasy involved in this. I'm trying to be as nice as possible here, but there's a lot of fantasy that's involved, and there's a lot of childish stuff, and it's very, very, very frustrating at times. Yeah, and it can be very overwhelming, especially when people start doing crazy stuff. Like I've literally gotten death threats over this fucking web fluid before. You know how stupid that is, man. Like this is fucking foam in a can, and you're gonna threaten my life over this shit. Like what the fuck? I know it's just like an empty fucking whatever, but it's like, come on, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like just the lengths that kids will go to try and manipulate you. It's honestly like impressive at times.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think these kids' main goal is? To like just be Spider-Man or something like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right, kids.
They want the attention. They want because I was talking. I was literally just talking to this about Symbiote Toast. So
we need to get him on here, all four of us. By the way, I've been meaning to talk to him too. I'm just so busy.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally down for that. But so I kind of put it like this. Okay, so obviously the number one person, the inspiration behind all of this for all of us is Peter Parker Spider-Man, right? Okay, but with that being said, yes, we want to look to Peter Parker for, attributes. He's literally like the embodiment of a perfect person. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he makes mistakes sometimes, sure, but he just stands for everything good and humble, and he's fucking Peter Parker. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So when you have an icon like that, right? Obviously, you're going to have a humongous mass following to it, and obviously, it's going to spawn stuff like this. It's going to spawn people, trying to make the fantasy a reality. People becoming real life superheroes. People, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on collecting comic books and artifacts and stuff like that. That's what this stuff has spawned. So, with all that being said, when it comes to our particular community, these kids, they obviously look up to being Spider-Man and look up to being Peter Parker. So what does that entail? That entails being a vigilante and being a superhero, obviously. And that entails being a super genius, right? So now they have to jump on the bandwagon that what everybody else is doing, which is fine. It's completely fine. I am guilty of being a bandwagon jumper on there, fucking 100%. I've rode the human spider's coattails for a while now.
Nah.
But it's the thing that that inspiration to be like Peter Parker sometimes deludes morality, I guess, because they try so hard to become, what they aspire to be, like their icon, that they are willing to, steal people's work and claim it as their own. They're willing to lie and manipulate to try and get something that they want. They're willing to, almost flex on people in group chats, saying that they're walking around on patrol and they just beat the shit out of a drug dealer, and it's just shit like that.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say about that, but first, what tell me about dropping some thing on someone. I don't. Let's go smaller if you don't mind. The heck was that?
Wait, hold on. You're breaking.
I couldn't hear
you
that.
were breaking up a little bit. You were breaking up a good bit. I only got half of the syllables.
Yeah, me too.
You hear me?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, you keep kind of fading in and out.
All right, can I reconnect? Is that possible or not?
Oh,
Yeah, you see are you on a computer?
No, I'm on the phone.
Oh, well, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Wherever it says, yeah, I'm on my computer.
All right, do I just click?
Just go on. Computer? Yeah. Do you want me to email it to you or something?
I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. You guys talk about something for a bit. I'll join in.
So I was testing out the valve that the new one I made.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back.
And
Keep
awesome.
talking. Sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah. And yeah, it works pretty great. But I've noticed that after a while, since I just tested it with butane, I just put a bit of liquid butane in there. The butane started to seep through the actual 3D printed part. It had a good seal and everything, but it was just those seams that it just kind of penetrated them and permeated through them. And,
what about coating it in some kind of epoxy?
That's not a bad idea, but I've got a 3D printing guy that is gonna get me my SLA prints.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that should solve it, because it's one solid piece. Nothing should seep through anything, and I should be good. I hope, but yeah, that's what I'm doing next.
I have fucking nylon filament. I don't know how well it will hold up on this monoprice, but I have nylon filament. I don't know if I can do something with that.
Can your printer go, blood?
I haven't ran it at max ever. The hottest I've ever run it at is
Do
200.
you know what the max is for it?
I mean, I've got my printer right next to me. I will.
Usually nylon requires 260, somewhere around there, so it's quite hot.
Well, the max says 280.
That's great.
So
Then you can do it.
I don't know if I can actually reach it, but
I know mine
that's
is
what
like
it says,
245, so I can't.
Don't I have to like fumigate this shit?
It might be
when I
smart,
print it,
yeah.
though?
Just leave your
Yeah.
door open, put a fan next to it or something, or a window or something, you know.
Well, I'm in my basement, but I do have vents down here.
Yeah,
Dude,
that would
yeah,
be
definitely
smart.
Don't let it. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, I've never printed with nylon before. I don't even know how good it will fucking adhere to this bed.
Yeah, I've never done it on this printer or any printer, but it is the, I think it's the number one choice for like more kind of less prototypey 3D printing, you know, more final manufacturing 3D printing. It is a strong material. A lot of times they put short carbon fibers in the filament too.
Well, that's what I was thinking for this valve, because I'm not gonna be able to get access to SLA unless if I fucking go to like Shapeways or something.
The thing with SLA, I think, is not. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Human Spider, but the nylon, if you just use a different material on your FDM printer, it's not really going to have the SLA effect. The thing with SLA is that it's very high resolution.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has to do with the actual material. The resin is like acrylate resin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weak and brittle, actually. It's not tough like nylon. But the thing is the resolution is the main thing, not how strong the material is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's pretty much correct.
So maybe I can just try doing the nylon and then epoxy dipping it or something.
I mean, I'm sure there's a way to
I'd
do this
recommend
with
going
FDM. Just needs some clever design tricks.
Yeah.
And go with the highest resolution possible. I only went with 1.5.
Yeah, I'll do it on ultrafine.
Yeah, I use 0.1 millimeters for stuff like that. My printer does that very well.
Yeah, this thing is actually pretty good at printing some high def stuff.
Good
job. I need to get a new printer though. I was thinking about either getting some kind of one of the Enders or
Enders would be good, yeah. Lulzbot, that's a good one. Sort of expensive, but that's probably the best one out there.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get like a dual extruder. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh man, I sent, well, it wasn't just, but I seen this thing and I sent it to Human Spider. It was it can print like 9 filaments at once or something. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was awesome. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, you know that Far From Home 3D printing Spider-Man suit scene doesn't seem too far-fetched now, does it?"
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. That is some advanced technology right there.
That's the future of tech.
Hell yeah, man. One of us needs to get a metal 3D printer.
Whoa.
That's it's actually interesting.
It's just a little.
So metal 3D printers are usually deal with SLS, selective laser sintering. So the metal powder and then a laser goes around and sinters everything together. And then they usually require, because that gives you what's like called a green part, and then they usually require a furnace for those parts to go into afterwards so that they can get essentially forged into their full ring. Yeah, so it's not really something you have on your desktop, but
no, definitely not.
It's also just a little bit out of our
budget.
No,
for sure. But I do want to say I was at a 3D printing conference like a year ago, and there was a company there called Desktop Metal. And so they have metal printers.
I've heard of it
for your desktop.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
I'm telling you guys, you know what? It's not too far fetched, man.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I have access to a machine shop, and I trust that far more when making.
Yeah, I think machining is probably the best way to go right now.
Yeah, like CNC and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, milling and lathing.
I don't really have that much experience with CNC milling or lathing. I do it a lot manually, and we're training for that at my school, so it's part of our curriculum.
That's an amazing skill to have. Being able
It's pretty useful, yeah.
Dude, even if you can make like your own pipe threading, like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's easy. I've done that. We did that in the summer when Human Spider and I were working together.
Yeah.
You guys were working together in the summer?
Yeah, when we made that, doing the web shooter stuff.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you meant like physically, like.
Oh no.
That would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah,
That'd
I was
be
about
great.
to say, what the hell? When did this happen? Like,
Yeah, that we'd be so productive. Just because, I mean, we did pretty good for like long distance.
yeah.
Working.
I'm saying, I'm like, the three of us need to get together one day. Like, I know it's a little expensive, and I'll even be willing to throw it on for plane tickets, but we got to actually like physically meet up somewhere and work on something.
Yeah, I'm down. It's all up to HS, honestly. He's the far away one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we would probably have to come to him.
I mean,
Damn.
like, no, that's kinda
Why?
that's two, right? Two of you guys, or just me?
Yeah, why would two of us go
yeah,
there?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'd like Canada
It'd be
though.
a fun trip.
Yeah.
I don't get to
I
go
do
to
like.
the States as often.
I've never been to Edmonton, but I like Calgary. But I don't know if.
Yeah, I've never been to Edmonton either.
No.
I've only been to like over by like Lake of the Woods.
Yeah.
That's where we go fishing. Me and my wife's grandpa.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it's super nice out there.
Yeah.
I'm not. We don't get that kind of shit out here, man. It's fucking totally different world.
So what were we talking about before I left?
I kind of forgot.
There was some Instagram drama.
Yeah, you wanted to know something about Instagram drama, but you kept cutting out.
Something happened. You sent a video, and it was about some dude flexing on some people, and you were like, "No, do
my
that." I don't know what any of that was about.
Oh, was that the video you made?
Yeah.
Like, the cartoon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess for some context, fucking, there's this show that I'm like in love with since I was like fucking like 16 years old, and it's called Metalocalypse. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it used to come on Adult Swim, and it's just a show about a death metal band, pretty much.
Oh, cool.
And I was watching it, and there was a scene in there where they were talking about like getting like residual credit for songwriting and shit, and like you know, they were arguing back and forth, like, you know, the bassist was trying to get, you know, more song credit than he actually deserved, you know, because he didn't write anything. You know, the lead guitarist of the band wrote all the bass riffs, and then all the rest of the band did everything else, and he didn't do anything. But he still wanted, you know, a cut of it and everything, and he was still claiming that he did everything. So like I was watching that, and it was like severely reminiscent of I'm not gonna name drop because I've already put this dude on blast so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's this person, right, and he pretty much figured out, you know, how to finesse the YouTube algorithm, and especially with this, you know, spider shit, he figured out how to kind of, you know, be very misleading and, you know, manipulate the system to get over, you know, 4K subscriptions on YouTube over fucking, you know, melted glue sticks and the acetone form and polystyrene formula that he hasn't even figured out how to shoot out of anything. And so anyway, this was a couple months ago. He took one of the clips from my videos and he put it in his video, and he made it like it was me shooting webs out of a lighter cartridge, and he made it like super misleading that he was about to give a tutorial of how to make that formula, right?
Yeah.
So I asked him nicely once to take it down, you know, because I didn't, you know, consent to him, and it was super misleading, and you know, he's like, oh yeah, no, I gave you credit, you know, I don't have to take it down, da 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 da. And I'm like, dude, like, you know, everybody thinks that you're making my formula, and whatever glue concoction that you made, it is not my formula, and that, you know, I don't want you to use my video, please, you know. Yeah. And he wouldn't go, you know, he wouldn't take it down. So I actually submitted a copyright claim to YouTube.
Ooh.
And then they made him take it down.
Oh, so that actually went through. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That went through, like, actually right away, because I filled out all the information, like the timestamps and everything.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I was pissed off. I really was. I was mad about it because, you know, that video right there got him monetized. And meanwhile, even still to this day, I'm still not monetized. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like, and it's just that really upset me.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
super unfair.
Yeah, and so regardless of what he did to me, this kid, like, I mean, Human Spider has had such a problem with him. This dude, like, literally has, to the point of harassment, like, been in Human's inbox and. Just every day, just kind of consistently, just like, hey, talk to me, like me, you know. And it's just like, it's just he's one of the big examples that I give when I talk about the toxicity that's sometimes involved in this community, is, you know, because that's somebody that doesn't care about, you know, stealing people's designs and trying to take credit as their own, you know.
Yeah.
That's somebody that's willing to lie, cheat, manipulate to get what they want. I mean, my first interaction with him ever, he sent me a video of him, like, he didn't even, like, penetrate his skin with the needle or anything. But he tried to send me a video of himself, like, shooting himself up with this substance, and he said that it was like this mutagen serum. Yeah, and then he sent me like before and after pictures of himself, and
like Alex Jones, and then Alex Jones but redder.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so funny, brother.
Yes. So, you know, and it was just, you know, then he was trying to convince me that he had, you know, superpowers after this, and then he needed my web fluid to go fight crime, and then he wanted me to make him a web shooter and send it to him for completely free of charge, using my own resources, time and money, and just send it to him. You know, it's not a big deal. Just make it and send it to him. You know, and so I stopped talking to him for a while, and he just kind of became a little more relentless. And as far as I know, literally anybody that, you know, shows some kind of potential and has, you know, something really cool to show, he is immediately harassing them. I know he's already harassed Spider Slayer. He's already harassed Savior Gadgets. He's already harassed the Huntsman. He's already harassed so many of the new guys that are coming into play, you know, these new engineers and younger minds that are starting to get involved with this. He's already all over them, trying to do what he did to me and Human Spider, you know.
I'm offended he hasn't come after me. What the heck?
He's tried. Oh yeah, he's tried. I've seen him in your comment sections.
Oh, seriously?
Oh yeah. He's tried. He's definitely.
You'll have to point him out to me after this so I can go look. That's fine.
All right. I definitely will.
Oh man, I just need to say, like, wow. Okay, look, I'm gonna talk to your audience real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys want to get into this stuff, here's what I support. I support the pursuit of self-betterment and knowledge and science and the betterment of other people.
Amen.
All right. Look, if your inspiration for this is the fictional character Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, that's fine. That's like all of us, you know. But I want you to take a good, hard look at yourself and say, what the hell would Spider-Man say to you if he were standing next to you, watching you type that shit into Instagram? All right. What would he say to you? He would say, wow, you're a real asshole. Look, Spider-Man is not about flexing on people. It's not about being better than other people. The word superhero is so stupid because it's like super. It's like you're better literally better. It's like Uber, you're better than other people. Like
Right.
that's if that's what you want the super, then just gosh, man, like you're not doing any favors for anyone or yourself, because you're just becoming a worse version of yourself by trying to pursue that, honestly. And it's clear the effects we see, you know, the shit going on in these guys' DMs and you know, all the relentless pursuit of this, you know, this ideal that is just it's not gonna come. You know, I'm in this for science, and I'm in this to help other people. I'm not in this to have the thrill of swinging around buildings, because I know that's ridiculous. You know, just I mean, honestly,
Yeah, it is.
that's my message. It's
a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's a pipe dream. And guys, like the world is real, and I understand. You know, if you're young, that's you might be in a place that your life isn't so great, and that this might seem like your one hope, but it's not. And it's actually the real world is such an amazing place, guys. You have no idea. We don't have to try to emulate some fictional world, because the real world is fantastic. You know, that of course there's so many horrible things going on, but the real world, there's super people all around you, you know. Right. And there's so many ways to be different from other people, and to be, you know, on a level that is both realistic and such that people can look up to you, but you don't have to be an asshole about it.
Right. And if you want to do something like that to change the world, become a police officer, become a firefighter, become a something like that. If you want to actually get physical and get involved, don't become a vigilante. Don't look up to violence like that. Don't give into that, because that's not what it's about.
I do have to say also, if you do feel like you want to become a police officer, know that job should not be about physical violence either.
No, definitely
not. To protect and serve.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, sorry if I made that seem like that. No, definitely not. But yeah, you know, that's just really my whole 2 cents on that, you know. Human Spider, you want to add anything to that whole situation with the Instagram stuff?
I don't know. Things have been pretty calm for me now. I haven't had many issues anymore. So
that's good, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
I really haven't either, because I did that same thing too.
Oh, yeah?
You know, every that messages me, you know, it has to go to like the request box. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's you can just follow me and see my stuff, you know, freely, but I don't accept messages like that, because I had some. This is another story. This was kind of funny. So I had some, you know, because I sell my web fluid recipes on my Patreon, and it's a one-time payment, $30, and you get all my fluid recipes, like the ones that I've made in the past and any ones that I will continue to make from here on out. They'll be posted. And, you know, you guys both have Patreons. You know, when somebody subscribes to your tier, it notifies you, you know, it tells you when, you know, the money's gone through and that you can, you know, withdraw it and whatnot. And so I got this random message from somebody one day, and it was this person trying to, excuse me, it was this person trying to say that, they just, you know, bought the web fluid recipes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't know where they were, and they couldn't see them. And I'm looking, you know, through my Patreon, and like this dude's trying to, like, you know, convince me that like he bought it for his son, you know, and he's getting all pissed off at me because like he thinks that it's a fucking scam and like all this shit. And I'm like, I'm looking through my shit, and I'm getting, you know, frustrated, and I'm about to the point where I'm like trying to contact Patreon support to be like, yo, this guy's payment didn't go through. Like, what the fuck's going on? And come to find out that it was just a kid trying to impersonate their father or something to like manipulate me to just fucking be like, oh yeah, here you go. You know, here's all of the information. You know. But yeah, so that happened, and it was like, fuck, man. It's just, you know, I've had, like, I'll tell you, for example, Savior Gadgets. He's kind of not really so much around anymore. He's kind of doing some other stuff. But me and him got really close, and it was funny because he just came up to me out of the blue. like randomly, and he didn't ask me for anything, didn't, say anything like that. He's like, hey man, I really like your shit. I'm also into this stuff too, and he sent me, the web shooters that he was working on at the time. He was actually working on Human Spider Year Mark 3 or 4 solenoid.
Yeah,
Whatever, whatever one had those big tanks.
Yeah, I remember he asked me about that as well.
Yeah, so that he was working on that, and he just came up to me super like respectfully, like a normal person, and that was fine. And I ended up like I just gave him my formulas and stuff, like, I didn't make him pay for it or anything, It's just he proved to me very early on that he was actually in this for the science and engineering behind this. He's not in this for the fame. He's not in this to try and fucking, pretend and look good for people and for the internet. He's trying to accomplish the same goal that we're all trying to accomplish. And people that come to me like that, it's honestly, it's so refreshing. Like, it's a breath of fresh air. Like, to see this, just like people come out of the blue, and then that they're actually like taking this shit seriously, and they're exploring new realms that we haven't yet to think of. Because we're just our own people. We work together on stuff. We converse about our ideas and stuff like that. But we can't think of everything. These new fresh ideas come into play, and it's just it pushes the community way further. I mean, it's like every month there's a new some type of new advancement, and it's just amazing, and it's so awesome to see, kids and young adults just working together and exploring the realm of science and comic books and fiction and trying to mash the two together, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's and those are the people that are best to surround yourself with, especially in this community. And that I really don't want to make it seem like like it's all people like the person that I was talking about and stuff like that. Because it's not. It's definitely not. There are very, very good people all over this community. It's from the cosplayers to the engineers to the real life superheroes to just the people that are fans. Like, this community is filled with beautiful people with beautiful ideas, and there's so much potential. There's so much potential to make our childhood fucking fiction a reality. And it's awesome. It's amazing.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh boy.
Very true.
Don't deal with image obsessed people. Just don't.
Yeah.
No. It's a bad time for everybody. But let's change the path a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a different plan than this.
No. I mean, not really. What I did want to talk about though is I guess future ideas, that you guys have in mind. What, but not really so much in your guys's ballpark. But I really want to know what the, I guess, best premonitions that you guys have for what the next advancement in web shooter technology should be.
Human Spider, you want to take that first? I got to think a little bit.
Okay, let's see. Well, something that I really want to do, that I've been meaning to do, I've even got the supplies to make something like that, is to actually build like it's essentially like a wrist-mounted grappling gun that you can swing off of. Like, I've got Kevlar rope and all that stuff. It's probably going to be similar to like what Greek Gadget Guru did, or what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. And with also, I think I've spoken with the Amazing about like some kind of wrist harness, like what the Hacksmith made once before.
Oh yes,
for holding that, because that thin rope's gonna just tear apart your hands.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wanted to give that a try, because I tend to be pretty good at making things compact, and like I haven't really been satisfied with like what I've seen. Like it looks cool and all, but also it's always like this bulky thing you got to wear. Like
Yeah, it's this huge device.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to see if I could improve upon that, give it a shot. Um, that's on my to-do list. What else?
Well, that's a pretty fucking awesome goal,
Yeah.
dude. I gotta say it's pretty crazy and awesome.
I think we talked about like a rappelling hook, right?
Yeah,
Like that. That's what I was kind of thinking. Just kind of something that you grip that grips the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like a Batman style
Something
type
like
thing?
that. Yeah. I think it would be pretty easy to do with 3D printing, and
Mhm.
I might even be able to do it with my current web shooter. All I would need to do would be making that grip thing, because I already have grappling cartridges, and the spring shooter has quite a far range.
Yeah.
It all just depends on
Well,
the strength
forgive
of
me
the
if I'm
hook, because
wrong.
I know the string is strong enough. So that would be pretty interesting to see.
Well, Human Spider, didn't you make a?
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Okay, I won't. Even
I don't know what that was about.
We won't talk about that here.
All right.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Off the record, but
Yeah, that'll get edited out.
I was gonna say, amazing. Do you want to mention a project we've had in the works for a long time, or do you want to still keep it kind of?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I think.
Yeah.
If you want.
Okay.
I mean, I will.
Yeah. I'm okay.
The way you were telling.
Yeah. So HS and I have a kind of a big project that we've been working on together.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's gonna speed up development of gadgets, a lot of different gadgets.
Yeah.
And it's essentially kind of like the arc reactor for the real world. That's kind of a very generous term to give it, because it's essentially just a battery pack that's kind of controlled with a microcontroller, and it will be compact and powerful, and it will be modular to any super suit, and you can hook any gadget into it and adjust voltages and stuff like that. So
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really great, because it would eliminate the need for like the gadgets to have their own like power source, like batteries.
Right.
So you can make them even more compact. You just So yeah, that's kind of the idea. I kind of teased this project in my bowler app web shooter video, I think it was. But yeah, it's fun. The Amazing's been doing a lot of great work for it, more than I have, if I'm being honest. Like he's done some really cool stuff with it.
Well, I actually just started printing those parts today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have a couple things printed on my desk now, and hopefully in the next couple of days I'll start fastening things together, see if everything fits.
Damn, I'm super excited to see this. Holy shit.
It's some exciting stuff. It shouldn't be too big. Our current estimate is that it's just 8 inches wide, and so if this is, you're talking about like a backpack, 8 inches left to right, 10 inches top to bottom, and only 1.5 inches off the altitude of your back. So pretty compact, and it's really good because what this does in transferring the battery power from, where your gadgets are, if you use batteries, if they're on your wrists or whatever, it transfers it from there to closer to the center of gravity of your own body. And that's really important for preserving the mobility, which is always been a big push for me.
Are you going to try and incorporate wireless charging in there too?
No.
No, that's...
Yeah.
No.
We have a pretty interesting balance charging interface that we're incorporating.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it as easy to use and intuitive as possible. Not much technical experience required to operate, I think, is the goal.
Yeah, very user friendly. Hopefully,
that sounds amazing. Sounds like honestly like a a piece of technology that should be worth like a couple million.
I don't know about that.
Making a power pack that could charge just whatever, anything that you would program it to charge. It's pretty dope, right? Is that pretty much
essentially?
what it is,
I mean, it's not so much program, but you can just hook any gadget you want up to, and we're kind of dealing around a 5-volt standard, but you can adjust that. So essentially, our plan is if we're centering, the power pack around 5 volts, and it's pretty easy to have a small boost converter inside a gadget in case you need that gadget to run on something like 8 or 9 volts. You can run the 5-volt line, and the battery we're using has a high charge output, so it's pretty good at dealing with those conversions.
That is fascinating. See, I wouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff, to be completely honest with you guys. It's a little out of my ballpark.
The circuit stuff, I know a little bit about that, electrical engineering, but HS is the computer engineering guy for sure. He knows how to lay out things on a circuit board and make sure that it works the way you want it to, which I greatly appreciate his help with all that.
Yeah, no, he's helped me out a good couple times too, because I'll look at something that he's made and just like those goggles. Holy shit!
Yeah, you guys both have those goggles, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they took me like 3 months to make.
No one wants eyes like me.
Oh, don't worry. If you check Insta,
Yeah,
Blood,
everybody's got
That
eyes
doesn't
like
help. That doesn't make
I was
me
gonna
feel any
say,
better.
don't worry. I'm working on something right now.
Oh, yeah?
So that I'll have eyes like you
Ooh.
and like Blood's. So
Oh,
yeah. If you check Insta right now,
see
Blood, you'll see.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go get my phone.
But yeah, I've been trying to get something worked out for a while to switch up my goggles or mask.
Cool. The new lenses
But,
that I made
yeah.
are very nice. I like them a lot.
Yeah. I really like what you did with the 3D printed mesh. It's awesome.
They were really put to the test a couple nights ago when I was out with Blood. I don't know. We can talk about that, right, Blood? You don't want
to. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, I'm. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
What? Because people following you know that you were here.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but my YouTube people don't know, because I have actually a lot more YouTube people that follow me than I do on Insta.
I guess Blood was here a couple nights ago. We were filming a lot of stuff, a lot of parkour scenes, for sure. And wearing those lenses, that was a real test for that. And it took a little bit to get used to, but
yeah, those were like top notch though. Those
honestly,
awesome.
It was a big step up. I was very surprised, and I felt very comfortable. After like 20 minutes or so. Yeah, it was great. So
yeah, and you were actually skating too.
Yeah,
so.
That was honestly a little scary at first, but yeah, no, it worked great.
Oh damn!
What's up?
I'm looking at those lens goggles that humans making. Oh,
I mean,
those look cool.
It's not much yet, but
All right, now I gotta look at this.
No, but
working on.
I can already tell what it's gonna be. These are gonna be sweet. Damn, dude. I'm gonna comment on it. Ready for this?
You made your account private. God damn it.
I'm sorry. Don't worry. I'll send you a better image over text. It's literally just like part of the frame.
All right.
It's not.
All right.
But yeah, I've had these files on my computer for like the longest time, and I finally just started printing them. So yeah.
Oh really? You made this a while ago?
Yeah.
See,
I've been behind a lot of stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, I see. I had an idea to do something like this a while ago. It's just I think it would be cooler if the light was defogged. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Instead of it looking like individual LEDs,
Yeah,
if it was just
it would look
like,
cool, but it's more for like I prefer it to be like a directional thing, just because like usually I'm like in dark areas and stuff like that, so like it helps like to see, especially when I'm testing like certain equipment out and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
But
most definitely.
and they're like really blinding. Have you ever noticed like I don't know, like I can't look straight at these. Like it's like holding a
Oh no,
flashlight
definitely not.
straight at someone's face, and like
I can
it's kind of cool because like the user can see perfectly fine because the light's completely directed outwards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's more.
It's
I
clever.
guess.
It's clever stuff.
Man.
Yeah, I mean even the green ones, like these goggles, just because like I don't know what it is about like just the ominous hoodie and like white eyes like that. That shit's just intimidating as
Yeah,
fuck.
I'd be kind of freaked out if I saw someone with like red circular.
Even
like,
the green ones.
Yeah.
No, even the green ones, man. I know if I seen that, I'd be like, all right, man, you stay the fuck over there.
Lens goggles are spooky, bright red.
Yeah, the red.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Yeah, so HS, man, you gotta get. I mean, it looks like you're about to, but I'm excited to get on to see what you get on your full suit.
You guys are cutting out. I'm losing hearing.
How about now? Is that better? Is that better? Check.
Amazing.
I can hear you just fine, blood.
HS, how about you? Check.
HS, can you hear me?
He's lost to the anchor gods.
God bless him.
He got eaten. His audio connection was swallowed into the abyss.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to mention, hopefully he'll be back soon, but we were talking about kind of premonitions. And
yeah, no,
for sure, I do want to get some kind of more scientific computer modeling done for this sort of thing, just so I kind of understand what's happening. I feel like that would help. And I want to do that kind of before I get back into fluid web shooter design, because I feel like there's a lot more that can be informed with the actual science in terms of just like, oh, I feel like this would work, because that's been my thing for years now. Just, I think this will work. And that's because, fluid dynamics and polymer dissolution is such a complicated thing. None of us know anything about it, really. We just know what we've observed.
Right.
But
yeah, no, I mean, because there's there's a search engine. It's pretty much like Google, but it's just for like papers and fucking like, just tests that either colleges have done or independent lab research and shit like that. And what you search, you can actually like subscribe to certain things, and one of the few keywords that I searched was dissolution of polymers and the hydrofluorocarbons, like Freon 12, tetrafluoroethane, shit like that. And really, there's not a whole lot of research.
No, for sure, and it's because it's not particularly useful, But
it's not, and the only main research that is with this stuff is the canister research. Like what this shit is actually stored and sold in. And they've come to fucking aluminum cans since.
Yeah, I mean, because pressure vessels obviously are a very common occurrence. There's pressure vessels everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, even soda pop is pressure vessel.
Yeah.
It's open. It's open.
The shape of those is really interesting. The fact that most of them are cylindrical, just because of ease of handling. But the most efficient shape for a pressure vessel is actually a sphere. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I mean, it makes sense. It's, full expansion.
Yeah, because actually, anything, if you have a force acting on an object. It's the same reason why every, pretty much every massive body in the universe is roughly spherical, because when you have forces acting outwards from a center or towards a center, things will want to deform to that shape. And I say want, it's obviously a little more complicated than that, but so actually the higher stress points in a cylindrical pressure vessel are the points at the equator, because that's the point where it's like, well, this should really be a sphere, So it's pretty interesting stuff.
But that's what we need to make is spherical web fluid cartridges.
I think that's probably the reason why testicles are shaped the way they are.
Yeah.
maybe in the past, humans, a previous evolutionary generation, had cylindrical testicles and they didn't work out so well, so they died. Or something like that. Who knows? But
they had those cone testicles,
Yeah. HS said he is unable to connect, unfortunately.
Okay. 1 second.
All right, cool. Hopefully he'll use that link. Yeah, spherical pressure vessels.
If you can't get back in, then we'll just stop it and then start a new one. Because I can just
Bloodcast Part 2.
It's Pro Tools, we can do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
What's he saying?
Still says unable to connect. All right. Next one.
All right, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, I'm in. That's so creepy. Oh, hey.
What's going on, guys? We're back.
Yeah. I think that last link expired or something.
Okay. Well.
All right, it's okay. Let me do these mid rolls really quick.
Blood.
Nope.
Blood, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Amazing. Hello.
I don't know if he can hear you.
Can he hear you?
Yeah,
he can hear me.
And
what?
And I can
you
hear
can hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay. Wait. What?
I can hear both of you just fine.
Okay. Amazing. Who can you hear both of us?
No, I can only hear you.
Okay. Well,
HS, tell Blood I'd say hi.
He can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can't hear him.
You just can't hear him. Yeah.
What is he saying? Is he talking bad about me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Tell him that I think.
Tell him he sucks.
Tell him that I said his pee-pee small.
He said you have a small pee-pee.
Fuck.
All right. Well, I'm hoping at least Anchor can hear me because I'm going to do these mid rolls. So.
Okay. Blood Spider is going to do his mid rolls, so we'll just quiet down for a bit.
What the fuck is going on?
I mean, I can't hear him.
Hold on. Okay. Let's try and fix this really quick. Hold on. What the fuck is going on? Amazing. Man, now he left. He's gone forever.
Wow.
Forever. He's lost to the Anchor gods.
Oh boy. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, fuck. It seems like always with the Bloodcast there's technical difficulties.
Yeah. Amazing.
MZU back?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear both of us?
I don't know if he's doing his mid rolls because I can't.
You still can't hear me?
You still can't hear him?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Hello? I don't think he can hear me.
What the fuck? Why is this happening?
Yeah, I don't think he can hear any of us, or maybe he can. Maybe we can't hear him. I don't know what's happening.
Can only you see me, Human Spider?
Yeah, I think so. I see dead people.
Oh man. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
God. Do we need to like sacrifice something to the anchor gods to please them so we can continue?
Yeah. We gotta give
Maybe.
up one of our web shooters. You gotta give him your formula as a.
See, I was thinking like maybe like Ethan Klein. Like we can sacrifice Ethan Klein to the anchor
Ethan
god.
Klein.
Yeah.
From H3H.
Yeah, he's a very successful podcast. I'm sure the anchor gods will
Yeah.
be pleased.
Oh boy.
We rip out his still beating heart and throw it in a fire.
Oh my god.
And then we talk about it online.
Oh, yeah. And then they'll be pleased.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
HS, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear Blood
I
Spider?
cannot hear Blood Spider.
You still can't hear me? What the fuck?
My
Oh,
microphone
God.
started blinking red, satanic lights. I don't know what that means.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I can't hear Blood. I can hear you though.
All right. Well, tell him that I said that we're gonna stop the recording really
Can
quick.
Blood hear me?
Yes, I can hear him.
He can hear you.
What the fuck?
Blood,
Oh my
Blood is saying that we're gonna quickly just stop the podcast so that he can fix whatever's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
just
sorry,
gonna-
Blood. I messed it up.
Tell him it's okay, and I forgive him.
He says it's okay, but he doesn't forgive you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Let's do this. Hello.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome.
Hello?
Pretty amazing.
Can you hear me? Amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay.
Wait, HS, I can't hear you.
Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Whew.
Okay, but you can hear me though.
I can hear everyone.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect.
All right. Here goes the mid rolls now.
Oh boy.
If you guys want to see any more of the stuff that we're talking about, be sure to subscribe to the Amazing's YouTube channel. Also, he has a Patreon where he shares exclusive content that he doesn't share anywhere else, and you can have access to his STL files. Same thing with Human Spider. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He also has an Instagram account where he posts usually more stuff than he does on YouTube as well, and he also has his Patreon account where he shares his STL files and some other exclusive content. So be sure to check all those out. Get your asses on their Patreons, subscribe to their tiers, support these guys because they definitely fucking deserve it. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel for more gadgets and web fluid and weekly podcasts with the best of the best. And this is all made possible because of listeners and viewers like you. So thank you. And we are back with the Amazing and the Human Spider. Gentlemen, sorry about the little bit of technical difficulties that we were having, but seems to all be in order now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I was wondering when you were going to promote yourself. You were saying all these nice things about us. I was like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, everybody gets 3 plugs on the Bloodcast.
Everyone subscribe to Blood Spider for sure. I don't know why you would be listening to this if you're not, but it should.
You know what? Actually, there are a lot of people that view my content that are not subscribed to me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep giving you those shout outs
Dude,
whenever I can.
Every time you do it helps, and I'm like so close to getting to the 1,000 goal and being able to monetize myself. Because I already have over 4,000 hours of watch time.
Yeah.
But it's just now the subscriber 1,000 mark.
Dude, you'll get a boost when we post our video for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yep.
Filming it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I gotta come back too when it gets warmer so we can finish.
Yeah. So I'm not freezing my fingers off.
Yeah, dude, it's so cold. Oh my god, it was so cold.
Do you think the teaser will be coming out soon?
I was actually thinking about it. Remember I was talking about trying to find some good drone footage?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I found one in that exact fucking parking garage we were at.
Really?
Yeah, like somebody like taking off from pretty much literally the spot that I pulled up in.
Oh boy. Is it for free?
I mean, I'll give him credit, and I'll definitely put the link to his video on there.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's on YouTube, and if I'm posting it on YouTube, it falls into the fair trade. So
That's fair. I would ask him, but that's just me.
yeah, I'll give him a shout out. I don't know if that was posted like 5 years ago. So
Oh, okay. It's probably fine then. Yeah.
yeah, but I'll ask him. If anything, I'm definitely gonna credit him in there, and then post the link to that video. So
Nice.
But
Yeah. Blood helped me film a video just for me, which is awesome because he's the best.
Yeah, he was telling me a little bit about it. I can't wait to see what you guys did, like, are doing. I'm excited.
Yeah.
our video, his PSA is probably gonna come out before our video does.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Our video is going to be awesome.
Yeah, our videos, but ours probably gonna be like, I don't know. I want to come back soon. I just want to come back when it's nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that whole trip, I spent only $40 on gas.
Damn.
Yeah, it's there and back.
Because you stopped just twice, I guess. Then.
Well, I stopped once for gas on the way there, and then I stopped once for food. I didn't get gas when I stopped for food. I was still at like half a tank, and then I made it there on just one tank of gas completely.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, I stopped before I passed out for gas, and then I passed out and drove all the way home.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was fine. I made it there. $40, dude.
That's great. Yeah, I sent the rough cut last night. I sent it to you.
Mhm.
What was that? I also sent it to Knight of the Astrals, the main dude.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
He thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
He thought it was fantastic. So, kudos to you for that. He said he wants to show it to all the other members, and he wants to use it as an example for all of them.
Good, yeah.
To do a video like
That's
that.
what we were talking about.
I was like, yeah, I think it would look good, but, not everyone has that capability. I'm so lucky to know someone like you, and people shouldn't feel pressured for that. But I do think it looks better than, reading a script in front of a webcam.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
It's more interactive too, because that's
Yeah, of course.
the thing, man. Like this thing, and that's I some courses in this, but like marketing and stuff like that, and presenting, especially for a cause like that, because that is an extremely important issue, and it's not necessarily something that you would expect coming out of your channel, but it is an extremely important issue, number one, that needs to be noticed, it needs to be brought to attention, and it needs to be fucking rectified,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I don't know, I just think that making that, bringing that to light, and then with the good presentation that we did, not only will that be attractive to more audiences, but now you're more likely to get that more signatures for that bill, and actually make something happen out of this, because of the good presentation.
I hope so. Yeah. The whole thing with the Astrals is using the superhero imagery, to kind of, it's essentially marketing,
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you gotta, superheroes are fucking cinematic, man. You gotta make that shit look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's interesting because I got a comment recently on my YouTube channel, and I want to bring it up. I didn't respond. I think it wouldn't have been smart to respond. And let me preface this by saying I think this guy probably has his head in the right place. I don't know if if I respond, it would have gone a completely different direction. But he is a critic, he responded specifically on my video about the Astrals. He said, the critics are right. You guys don't think you're superheroes, which is true, but you sure dress up for the part, which is true, and give yourself names, which is true. You guys are out there playing a fucking role, which is true. So everything he said was true. And he also said the critics are right. So I feel like maybe there might be a disconnect in terms of what's being understood about what exactly we're trying to do, you know?
Right, and you know what? This is a topic that I've brought up a lot, and I've used you as an example before.
Uh-huh.
Is the whole RLSH movement has been so fucking misconstrued, and the name thrown in the fucking dirt.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
Oh,
do you guys watch Nexpo at all? You guys ever watch
Yeah.
Nexpo? Yeah. Okay.
I do not.
No. Well,
What's that?
it's pretty much like
Nightmare Expo.
yeah, it's a YouTube channel. Then he does like, you know, like internet investigations and spooky shit and fucking, you know, like deep web stuff and fucking just, you know, he's one of those kind of channels, you know what I mean? Like
What's it called? Nexo?
Nexpo, yeah.
Nexpo.
Nexpo.
Yeah, Nightmare Expo is what it is, but it's Nexpo.
Funny because there's a nightclub in Ann Arbor called Necto.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, funny thing too. Your song that you used in Human Spider, the song that you used in your Homecoming reloadable, is Nexpo's intro.
Oh, you
Oh, no way.
song?
Yeah.
Really?
I know you
Yeah.
did that song. Wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, I recognized it immediately. But yeah, so he did this thing. He did a video about Phoenix Jones, right? And I remember the amazing. You kind of did a little thing about Phoenix Jones when you were when you made your Astrios video, the first one.
Yeah.
And I didn't, you know, I knew who Phoenix Jones was prior to all this and stuff, but I didn't really like know exactly what happened. I know that he like pepper sprayed some motherfuckers and shit like that.
Can I just hold on one thing real quick? Was the Phoenix Jones video recent?
I think pretty recent.
Like a month ago?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, I think you might be. That wasn't Nexpo. That was Atrocity Guide. I also saw that video.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, maybe. Who is it?
Atrocity Guide. They do.
Atrocity Guy. Okay. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Atrocity Guy. Sorry, I might want to cut out the right person for the right video, but I could put a link down in the description too for
Nexpo was also really good, but he did not.
Yeah, Nexpo is also very, very awesome.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess that it came to light that he was a drug dealer.
Yep. You didn't know that?
Oh, yeah.
That was February.
I didn't know. I didn't know that until recently.
Yes. I didn't know that until The Amazing filled me in on that, like last week, I think.
Yeah, that was crazy, and like, you know, hard fucking drugs like coke and fucking ecstasy and shit. Like, damn, dude, holy fuck. But you know, that guy like made the RLSH movement come to fucking light in the media, and he was the one that fucking made it all blow up and you know, like I said, made it come to light and made everybody realize that this was a thing that was actually happening and people are actually doing this shit. But it's just like, if you wanna go to that length of like trying to fucking like protect buildings from protesters and, you know, use the force of pepper spray and, you know, trying to act like you and your friends are some type of private militia police force, you know, that's wrong, man. Like, you don't have a right to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and not only number one is that like completely dangerous, because especially in a situation like that, like when you are a person dressed in a costume and you're gonna throw yourself into a riot, you're gonna get torn the fuck apart, man. Like, it doesn't matter that you know MMA and that you're, you know, you got almost all wins and you know, a perfect fighting record. It doesn't matter. When you're in the street with rabid people, there's gonna be random bullets that start flying and unpredictable stuff that doesn't happen in an octagon. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not. People shouldn't look at that the real life superhero movement like that, because that's not what it's about. It's about what you do, and it's about helping your community and being a good fucking person, like, because that's what a superhero is. That's what a hero is. It's not about going and
Yeah, a good
saving
person
people.
seems like the bare minimum, and I feel like he failed that shit.
Yeah, like, oh man. I mean, it was just all a front for like a drug dealing ring,
Yeah,
is what it seems like.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, he was scamming the people wanting to join his organization, selling them bulletproof vests and stuff, and all the while, shitting on all the other real life superheroes, calling them a joke. He said, "You're a sandwich handler. I'm a superhero." All right, cool. And he sometimes lied about encounters that he had and stuff like that. It's like,
Well, and then he got somebody killed, right?
specifically who?
Some girl. Didn't some girl get shot in the neck because of him?
I don't think it was because of
Whoa.
him. I think that was like a case that he cited as being like he was sad that he couldn't stop it from happening or something.
Oh, okay.
I think he was there. I'm not sure if that was directly attributed as his fault. To be completely fair.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'm not going to state that.
Right. Yeah, I think what I do know is that case. Phoenix Jones did say he cited that as his biggest failure, and that the people who were close to him said that he changed after that happened. But that's all I think was said. So.
And honestly, that was, if it wasn't directly his involvement, I mean, it was honestly probably all just show. Just a flaunt for the camera to give him some type of superhero origin story,
sob story. I mean, he had comics commissioned about him.
Oh my god! Oh, dude! Oh my god, that was fucking cringy, dude.
And he had that girl's death was in there.
Yeah.
The family was like, "What the hell are you?"
And he was crying in the sewer over her blood and shit.
Yeah. It's he put
real life having nightmares about it. Yeah,
real life events in this comic book, and everyone was like, "Yo, what the fuck? This is messed up."
Yeah, that's just. And you know what? I'm not gonna entirely, attribute everything to him. Because then the other side of it is the. And I'll bring up the old Discord server that you had and what that turned into with all of the I mean there was a time on there where you literally had to fucking be the Spider Father and give everybody a fucking verbal spanking because these kids were getting out of control, and it was
I had to do that multiple times and I didn't have time to do it as much as I should have done it in order to keep that server online. And that tells me that thing had to go, because the fact that I probably, if in a perfect world, to make sure that server stayed not a fucking wasteland of memes and shit posts, I would have to police it 24/7.
Right.
And
which
that tells me that no, this is a waste of time.
No, and that those kind of people is what have thrown the RLSH name in the dirt.
Yeah.
And that's why, when people hear that now, they don't take it seriously and they think that it's something that it's not, And then now from fucking last year until now there's fucking the real life supervillain.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about this shit? The real life supervillain? Have you guys done any investigation or watched any of this shit? It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into some of that with the Astros. It's so stupid. Honestly, it's just,
dude. There's this dude.
You guys fill me in?
Yeah. Okay. There's this dude in particular that I've seen, and I actually had to say something to this guy because it was so bad, and I went to him as fucking Garrett Mingelino. I didn't go to him as a blood spike.
Yeah.
I hit him up. I hit him up on my own Facebook account, on my own fucking personal messenger, and fucking. I'll just tell you what happened. So, it was either that green arachnid dude or it was one of the other younger kids from from the old Discord server sent me a screenshot, like, you know, a private message on Discord, and they sent me a screenshot of this dude called MC Maledic or whatever.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. And it was this huge, long, super rant of this guy talking about that he was gonna fucking go to this kid's house and keep in mind, this kid that he was directing this to was fucking 14 years old.
Yeah.
14 years old, and this is a grown ass man my age. Actually, I think he's older than me. And he's directing this shit to a fucking 14-year-old, and he was saying shit like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking come to your house and fucking slit your throat and fucking like kill your dog," and fucking he was saying all this fucking shit to this kid, and he knew he was a kid. So I seen that, and I'm like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
no way, you know, like, this is fucked up, and an adult needs to get involved with this.
Yeah.
So I hit him up on fucking Messenger, just like I said, and I'm like, dude, you know, I trust me, like, I'm coming to you as me right now, Garrett, and, you know, I don't know if you know who I am or not. I'm the Blood Spider on YouTube. Not real life superhero, not a real life supervillain. Don't do any of that, but like. Yeah. And number one, I told him, like, flat out, like, I understand completely how frustrating, you know, these kids can be. I understand how annoying they can be and how relentless they can be, and the shit that they say and do, and the empty threats that they give you. Trust me, I know. I understand it and I get it. But they are kids. They are 12 to 16-year-olds, okay? You're a grown-ass man. You have to expect 12 to 16-year-olds to act like 12 to 16-year-olds, okay? But you're an adult, okay? Block them and move on with your fucking life. Yeah. Don't threaten a fucking 14-year-old that you're going to fucking slit their throat in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So I come to find out, you know, because, you know, I wouldn't say I have a lot of connections, but, you know, I wanted to be a private investigator. That's what I went to school for. That's what I fucking, you know, wanted to do. And I know a lot of different, you know, cops and police forces and state troopers and stuff like that, just in random states, friends that I've made along my, you know, line of shit. And somebody doxed him. I don't know who it was. Somebody doxed him, though, and somebody did give his address out online.
Yep.
And
I was there.
Yeah, okay, so you remember that. So I did look him up, and that was his address. That is actually him. That was him, and I fucking reported him to his local fucking police, you know, and I fucking just so happened I knew somebody that worked for the state troopers of where he lives.
Oh, really? Wasn't it California? Or am I missing?
Whoa.
I'm not going to disclose that. Yeah, but he you know, I reported it, and as far as I know, I don't think anything was done other than a verbal warning. I know that officers were sent to his house, but yeah, other than that, I don't know what happened. It was absolutely insane. And then he has this whole persona online, and it's like almost like this dude is like he's LARPing in a way, you know, but it's like he's taking it serious.
Yeah.
And he's like really thinking that he's gonna become a supervillain. And I told him straight up, I'm like, dude, if you're calling yourself a fucking real life supervillain, what crimes have you done? Like, fucking. I guarantee you, I've done more crimes than you've in like a week than you have done in your entire life. Like, what supervillain are you? Have you robbed a bank? Have you fucking killed somebody? Are you making a laser beam that'll rip the moon in half? What are you doing?
I'm working on that.
And like he always talks about, like, in his videos, that he has this like big plan, and his fucking Pantheon team is doing something big, and the ROSH community is gonna fucking die, and da 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 da. And it's like, dude, go work, go be an adult, go fucking put the meth pipe down, and quit doing whatever you're doing. Like, you're talking shit to kids.
That type of shit, when that was happening, like last summer, last fall, it just showed me that the RLSH and the RLSV or whatever, it just makes me want to throw up in my mouth when I say either of those things.
I
It's
know,
two sides
man.
of the same coin. Dumb people pretending to be dumb things, thinking there's something that they're not, trying to get away from reality. And it's like, look, here's the deal. All the people who have taken the label RLSH, a lot of them are great, like you said. But now that label is just so tainted. Because Phoenix Jones, that's a whole other thing. But, you know, there's that, and then there's the dumb kids on the internet. And it's like, no, like, if you call yourself that, stop. Just stop it. And, you know, I hate to say this, you know, because I am technically a member of the Astrals, but it doesn't stop there, you know?
No.
Like, there are people, and I'm not going to drop names, but, you know, Knight started out the Astrals. He didn't know anything about RLSH. He had no idea it existed. And he was just kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, someone messaged me. They say they want to join. I'm like, yeah, sure. Ended up being a big problem with that, and I tried to point that out to him several times. And so now we have a thing where we interview people. We have 4 people that we have to interview, that have to conduct an interview for a new member, one of which is me. And I just feel like there are still people in the Astrals, outside the Astrals, RLSH, who are kind of desperate for like drama and like
attention.
Like they're desperate for a problem so that they can solve it, you know. And it's like, that's not. That's just so that those are the people who spend all their time on the internet and just like, you know, go down
like they're living in a fantasy.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but that's what it is.
It is. That is what it is, and it's just, you know, I have to try to guide these people, you know, because their hearts may be in the right place, but you know, and you know, this was clear as day when that MC whatever fucking weirdo dude got doxxed, and I remember because it was this other quote unquote real life supervillain who was like, yo, I'm like doing a test for all you like RLSH, and I'm gonna like, you know, dox on and reveal everything and like, you know, all that shit. And he's the one who doxed MC Maldek and like made this puzzle for us to solve in order like for us to like find out that he did this. And like everyone in the Ask group chat was like, the next message is coming in 30 minutes. Is everyone ready? And I'm like, well, I don't give a shit. You know, what the fuck are you? Why do you care? What is the point? I was so annoyed when people were like, I've been trying to solve this puzzle. I'm like, it's not a fucking Batman show.
Dude, you know what? You know what was crazy? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
This is why I think that MC Maldek guy is actually on drugs, and the person who you're talking about that supposedly doxed him his name is Own Influence, right?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Okay, well, so far and upon my own independent research, it seems like Own Influence is MC Maldek.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
and he doxed himself to try and get all this fucking drama going, and to try and make it seem like the RLSH fucking community did this to him and fucking yada yada yada. Well, he posted this video and I think he has since taken it down. But he posted this video of him running out of his house and like chasing something and yelling like RLSH scum or something like that, and like running out of his house. And then the video ended there, and he made another one about it. He was talking about how like RLSH was fucking running away from his house, and they like threw a brick at his house or something like that. And then he posted another video of him driving around in his truck like super fast at night, like looking for something. And there was nothing there in all of his videos. There was like literally nothing there, and he was chasing after something. And so then I guess the aftermath video that he posted was that there was like a stop sign right in front of his house, you know. He was like right on the corner of like an intersection, and like the stop sign had like tire tracks going into it all in the grass and shit, and the stop sign was all fucking smashed and like somebody ran it over and shit, and he was like, oh yeah, this is what they did, you know, fucking. And like, upon further observation, it looks like he just got a little too cracked out or something, and thought that there was somebody breaking into his house, drove around and smashed into that own stop sign by himself. And yeah, so like there's like, some severe something going on with that guy. And he is becoming this very big prevalent thing in the RLSV community.
Oh, I don't keep up with that bullshit. So.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't even keep up with the RLSH other than anything that you do, to be completely honest. But I know the reason why I keep tabs on this guy is because he's in this war with children, and that's not okay.
It's Knight called the FBI on some of these guys, and
really
talking to them about that.
Okay, good.
But because it's not, threatening children with death over the internet. That's fun,
Right, dude. Like, what the fuck? How low do you have to be as a person? How much of a piece of shit has life fucking taken on you to where you feel the need that you have to fucking go out of your way to fucking, yeah, sure, the kids are fucking annoying. Okay, whatever. Okay, yeah, they're fucking kids. Okay, let them do whatever they're doing online. They're children. Fucking whatever. Okay, it is what it is. Block them, move on, do whatever you're fucking doing. Like, what kind of fucking low-life fucking scum do you have to be to fucking tell a 14-year-old child that you're gonna slit their throat while they're fucking sleeping?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's interesting because there's this guy, I won't name drop him, but he has actual hacker or some shit. He works with the Astrals on some cases, and he actually has come up with private info for this one dude that we had to investigate, and that shit scares me, because he is.
He's listening to this podcast before it's even.
Oh
out.
Yeah,
he's listening now. He's like, "Oh, they're fucking talking about me, these assholes."
No, I mean I respect that, and it's crazy to hear him talk. He's the type of dude. He's like, people are awful, and
so he's like a gray hat.
Is that what? I don't know what that.
Hopefully, gray hat hacker.
I don't know what that means.
No. Well, there's like black hat, right? It's just kind of okay. Never mind.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, he's the dude who I was like, "How'd you come up with this?" And he just said, "I am," and he said his name. I was like, "Damn." Okay. Ooh, and he could definitely find out shit on me if he had to. That's for sure.
Dude, I mean, you can find out anything on anybody. To be honest,
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not gonna, say anything, but the internet is a very explorable.
Yeah, that is true. But some things are still well hidden, and only
most definitely
could find out. I mean, he could find out someone's passwords. That's where
that shit's scary.
That's where he's at. So
yeah, that's fucking scary. This is a little off topic,
mm-hmm.
but I worked a while ago. I worked at this staffing company, and they got me this job forklift driving at this company, right? I was working at this place for 5 or 6 months or something like that. Well, we got paid, bi-weekly pay there and everything like that, and I had a direct deposit, to this pay card that they had set up. Well, so payday came one week and we didn't get paid, right? And the staffing company was like, because the job that I worked at for the staffing company, they didn't pay me. The staffing company paid me, So we weren't getting paid. Well, come to find out, and keep in mind, I only found this out because it was literally on the news. And the company that I was working for was literally trying to cover it up and act like there was some kind of computing error. Well, what happened was some hacker, and it was only one guy, took hostage that everybody in that entire staffing agencies, social security number,
Oh,
everybody, and he took it for hostage for ransom. The FBI had to pay that motherfucker,
Oh.
and he did. He gave him back and everything, but like, dude, that my social security number was in the realms of a hacking fucking guy that was just about to probably sell them to whoever he could fucking find.
Damn scary.
Yeah, and that was like for a company that I worked for, man. But yeah, that off topic, but that was just crazy as fuck. That's hackers.
Everyone's data is accessible to somebody they don't want it to be. You know.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of chance whether they'll find it or not. It's kind of spooky.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
Well, it's good that turned out okay. You know.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, they had to pay him. I don't even think that to this day they found out who it was.
I mean, a lot of times they don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, how can you? You know, I'm sure somebody like that knows how to cover every single trace that they could possibly make, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that was it. But, yeah, I mean, you know, again, going back to the whole RLSH thing, you know, I think that there's good intentions involved with this. There's, you know, for what it is, for at least for what you do, at least for what the Astros do, that's what it should be. Everything else needs to be, you know, I think people should really reconsider what they do. And that's my 2 cents, you know, fucking. I'm not even a part of it, so I don't know if any of my fans watching are going to take that into consideration if you are RLSH, but I highly suggest looking up to the Amazing for what he does, if that's the path that you want to follow.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you.
I mean, people already do look up to you a lot, but like, why is it that there's still so few of people that are actually like you?
There's not a lot of appeal, I think, in doing what I do and not getting to be the badass who beats criminals to a pulp every day.
Right, exactly.
I think, you know, not getting to be the dude who swoops in and rescues the damsel in distress, you know. Those are all very cinematic things. You know, they exist in fiction for a reason, and they also don't exist in real life for a reason. Because it's just not feasible, not possible. And I think, you know, the Astros still get messages, Knight sends this to me sometimes, where people are like, you guys aren't superheroes. The real heroes are the ones who, like, take the law into their own hands and, you know, beat up people. And, like, what do you guys do? You just, like, you know, talk about stuff in college. And the Astros do a lot more than they can let on, too. I mean, they work with police departments, and it's they can't talk about it.
Alone in itself is impressive.
Yeah, I admire that a lot. I hope to get some of that going here in Ann Arbor, but, you know.
Oh yeah, that cop was looking when we were in the parking garage, HS, when we were meeting up, and we were gonna film me coming down from the elevator because he takes his electric skateboard down the parking garage, and I just take the elevator down.
Yeah.
And when we were like kind of scouting out the location, this cop comes up to us. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
You know, because we're just in full costume. I'm looking at him with red ass goggles and fucking Batman blades on, and we're like, filming. It's like, oh well, you can't skateboard in here.
Yeah, he said, I want to let you guys know, like, you can't skateboard in the parking structure. It's university regulations. Just want to let you guys know that before you get in trouble. I was like, thanks. You mean before you get us in trouble?
Yeah, like, who's gonna get us in trouble? You're the trouble, man.
I appreciated that. You know, that was nice of him.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it was funny. I think you just said he said, "So what's with the costumes?" And you were like, "Oh, we're filming a video." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Oh yeah, no, I said we're YouTubers.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I didn't quite hear that. He said, oh, "Okay, cool." He was probably like, "Fucking YouTubers, goddamn."
Yeah, probably.
Crazy as me again around town doing some shit. He's gonna be like, "Oh my god, the YouTubers are back."
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you haven't had more police interaction.
No.
To be honest, I know if I was out here and do that, I would.
Well, I mean, honestly, police cars have driven right past me when I'm walking down the street.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Ann Arbor's such a weird town. Honestly, it's like they're looking for crimes. You know,
right.
I'm not committing any crimes.
Yeah, Spider-Man doesn't commit fucking crime.
Hey, that dude's just with Spider-Man. He can't be a criminal. Gosh, I love fucking skateboarding past the fucking nightclubs and then all the people in the line, drunk people in the line are like, "Oh my god, it's Spider-Man!"
It's like the amazing Spider-Man 2.
Hello,
swinging. Spider-Man.
Hello, pedestrians. No, I mean, I miss going out to help the homeless people, and it sucks that this is the time where like that is not a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and they need it too.
Yeah, I know.
That's the even more shitty part is like they need it even more now than ever, and it's like right.
If you pass something to them, they will almost surely die, and they pass something to you, then you continue to spread somewhere else, and it's not good. So you can't do it. But now's the time when I actually have time to do it, and it's like, well, shit, double jeopardy.
I know it. Yeah, man, that's nice.
It is super rewarding, though. I do enjoy doing that. And a lot of the people you meet, they tell you your story or their story, and it's like, damn, you're a pretty awesome person.
Yeah. The world is full of amazing individuals. You'd be surprised what you can just who you'd come across just in everyday life.
The unsung heroes.
Exactly. Yep. So HS, how come you've never really been interested in the RLSH life?
I tend to work more effectively alone, especially like. Well, you guys have seen how it can be difficult for groups of people to work collectively. To like the Astrals have been the most successful ones that I've seen, or at least from what the Amazing tells me. That's primarily why. Also, because like there's so many things like people just trying to be like superheroes, and they're doing it just because they want to be like what they see in the movies and stuff like that, but it's not like that at all. So yeah, that's never really interested me. Like I do certain things like that, or not like that, but like RLSH stuff, but I'm more discreet about it, and it's more like community service stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not really like, I don't really show much of that stuff in my videos, mainly because identity stuff.
Yeah,
and I can't really. No. It links too much towards me.
I think that's awesome, honestly.
So
HS,
I do stuff. I do stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I don't really.
That's better than me,
much
too,
of that.
honestly, because that's
Well, talk about it a little bit if you don't mind, without giving too much away. What kind of stuff?
I've gone out around downtown. There's a lot of homeless people where I'm at, so I have done what the Amazing's done before. Where like you've got supplies. I'll have like a bag, like a backpack.
Oh yeah, like some care packages.
Yeah, and then like I'll walk by there sometimes, and there's almost always someone that needs something.
Awesome,
so I'll do that, but it's more discreet. Like I'm not like in costume or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just I look like a student or something, just walking around. I'm like,
just helping your community any way you can, man. That's awesome.
Like it feels good. So to help, and
I mean,
I do that when I can.
To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I am not very supportive of my homeless community because of the fact that my homeless community is not really like your run-of-the-mill homeless people. They are kind of the scammer kind of homeless people,
everywhere's different, you know. It's good to be wary of that.
Yeah, and you know, like the kind of people that I deal with like that will come up to you and try to tell you this, you know, 15-minute long sob story of how their daughter's locked in their car and they need $15 to, you know, call a tow truck or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, I would just, if you really need the money, like I'm more unlikely to give it to you if you like just come straight up and ask me, like fucking, yeah, like I'm not saying that I would, but it's just like I'd be more inclined to do it if it was literally just like straight up, hey, I need money for this, instead of fucking trying to give me this sob story, you know. But as far as helping my community go out, like, I mean, I'm a part of my own neighborhood watch, like just in my subdivision, you know, fucking, but my neighborhood is like dead as hell. It's just all old people.
It's a peaceful life.
Yeah. There's nothing ever goes on in my neighborhood except lawn mowing and weed whacking. But, you know, when I lived in the city, though, it was a lot different. When I lived in the city, that was honestly terrible. That was I looking over my shoulder every fucking day and worrying about getting mugged, and I got stabbed twice and my face fucking slashed open for a goddamn iPhone, and fucking, you know, it's you just product of your environment, man. You know, I'm glad that I moved away from all that stuff and in a happy, healthy home now. You know?
It's good, man. Proud of you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you. But yeah, you know, I wish I was a little bit more involved in my community, to be honest. I'm really I wouldn't say like reclusive, but you know, I'm just, you know, doing my own thing.
That's okay. You know, just, you know, you seem like the type of person to, you know, take care of themselves, and that's always important. And you know, you're a normal human being. You have empathy. You see, you know how to help when to help. I'm sure. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is in some places, man, and it sucks. You know, and that's what people have to live with, like their day to day. You know, and like their day to day is fighting for survival. Their day to day is looking over their fucking shoulder, trying not to be killed. Their day to day is, you know, hustling for whatever they possibly can. You know, and it's a very, very rough, exhausting life to live, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
No, it's not a digression. I mean, it's a lot of people are really failed by the system, and I really don't think the system works.
It doesn't, man. Fucking, it's set up to fail. You know, I mean, especially with the African American community, it's just terrible how like the white man has the whole system set up, and it's just like if you clearly don't see like the blatant racism in our system, like you're part of the problem, man.
Yeah, and it's shameful. You know, I've benefited from that system, and it's every day I feel like I shouldn't have, you know, because I shouldn't have, you know, have this privilege. That's not how the world should be.
No, it's not.
But
it's a very, very morbid example, but I say this a lot when I bring up race, religion, whatever, because especially when it comes to number one, political matters, and number one, just humanity in general, this pigmentation or what you believe in or what you think, it shouldn't matter. It's all trivial bullshit, because at the end of the day, if you line up man of every single race and religion along the wall and you fucking walk up to them and slit every one of their throats and fucking they're all gonna die and bleed out the exact same way. So like,
yeah, no, but it's people who are afraid of stuff like that, you know.
Right, they're afraid of something different than what they don't
yeah,
know.
They want to have power because it makes them feel safe, and so they want to feel like they're better than some other group, you know, because that gives them power. Oh my God, it's actually ridiculous how much how many Americans get away with racism, and it's because of the history of this country, you know.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, this
so
country,
recent,
like,
oh,
you know, I get the benefits and I get treated like I'm a white guy, but I'm not. I'm not white. I'm I'm Italian. I'm only the second generation of my family that's in America. You know, everybody before me was born and raised in Italy, and you know, most of my family came here illegally. Especially, you know, back in the day when, like, you know, mafia and gangster times, they all came here illegally on the fucking boats from Sicily, you know. And but even now, you know, I get, you know, yeah, I'm kind of a browner dude, but I get treated. I definitely have white privilege, like, for sure, like, without a doubt. Like, I definitely get treated better and looked at better than a black person in my community would. And I'm a fucking, you know, scary metalhead looking dude, you know. Like, I got long hair, my fingernails are usually black, and if I'm pulling up at somewhere, there's usually fucking disgusting death metal coming out of my speakers, you know. So, like, I'm, you know, I have that, you know, that look to me, but it's still, because my skin's white, I don't get, you know, any kind of lesser treatment, and it's fucked up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad. The whole system. You know, several people, African Americans, getting, you know, killed in, like, the past few months, even for just doing normal things, you know.
Yeah, it's insane. It's,
you know,
absolutely insane.
I hate to, like, bring this up, but it's like, I've known a lot of police officers, and they're great people, you know. But I do think in a lot of places that job kind of attracts broken people. And that's not a good thing. You know, people who maybe, you know, want to be a soldier but are afraid to go into war. People who want to, you know, be heroes. There's some of that there too. And, you know, the video of the recent video of the Air Force veteran who's African American getting chased down, shot in the face, killed. Cops standing over him, and the video, one of them laughs and says, he's going to need a closed casket. It's like, what do you think you are? You think you're Dirty Harry or something? Like, come on. That's so unprofessional and frankly pretty disgusting.
Well, you know, and another thing is too, that it doesn't happen. There is not a good mental illness / like therapy in the police force. You know, there is some, but it's, I mean, number one, that system is a different story. You know, the whole mental illness thing and how they treat people with PTSD and shit like that. It's a whole nother fucking monster in itself. But there's not a good system in place set up for cops that go through traumatizing shit like that. Like, I mean, there's cops that are on scene usually before EMS gets there, and they have to deal with that shit, you know, before that even happens. And sometimes, you know, it's a situation where they don't know what to fucking do. Like, this dude's head is wide the fuck open, but he's still alive, fucking moaning and talking. What the fuck do I do? You know? Like, and they have to deal with that, and that's a traumatizing experience. That's not something that you can just fucking go to bed at night and fucking, you know, like, act like it never fucking happened. You know? When you hold a fucking person in your arms and watch the fucking life leave from their eyes, that changes you. That changes you as a human being, and you know, you can't just numb yourself to that. It doesn't work like that. That's not how humanity works. That's not how people are. It doesn't matter if you're a public servant or not. You're still a fucking human. Yeah. And there's not a lot of good things in place that are set up for them to recover for that shit. They're expected to just fucking brush it off and get back into the job, you know? And in result, that causes a lot of trauma, and like that causes, you know, when cops are in shootouts and shit like that, and they survive, you know, but they watch their buddy like right next to them get their fucking brains blown out, and you know, like, that's traumatizing. So now every time, you know, they see a gun, they get fucking itchy and trigger finger because they're traumatized from what they've seen, you know. And it's just like, man, there needs to be more implications in place where it actually considers the human condition and not just a fucking like systematic equations and fucking statistics and fucking, you know, what this could be or what this could lead to or whatever, you know. It needs to be dealt with and looked at the why and the solution, you know. But that's my rant on that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, and this is part of the reason why I do think we need more people doing things like the Astrals, but that does come with a big caveat, you know, because I do want to keep things independent from law enforcement, mainly just as kind of an outside eye, outside activism, you know. And I do also want to keep things civil. I don't want to create more violence, you know. That's not something I want to do. So it's a delicate balance, and a big part of it is you don't want to do what law enforcement does, which is just, you know, have a lot of people, you know, because then you get people who might not be right for the job. And so that's why I'm always talking tonight. I'm like, you know, there's a lot of people here who are just the people we complain about all the time. I don't know why you let them in. They're just, you know, kids who complain about stuff. And I'm like, you know, what my vision for this sort of team would be people who I know have a diverse set of skills, who are great people, and they, you know, care about the issues, and they have feasible and doable ideas to combat these issues. That's what I want to lead. And it's just so hard to get that because you have to muddle through all the, you know, the crap that we've been talking about.
Right, yeah, and you have a lot of that to weed through before you find the real motherfuckers. Yeah, and it sucks, man. It sucks. I mean, because there are people like that too. They're out there, and they're fucking waiting for you to hit them up, and they're there. But it's just fucking process of elimination, so and it sucks.
If you're listening to this and that sounds like you, hit me up. And I also want to point this out, and you know, this is a big question a lot of times. Is everyone's like, well, why do you have to like wear the costume and everything? And like, I wear the costume mostly because it's fun, but also, you know, my life, like my actual life, is like a great, like real normal life. You know what I'm saying? And no one I know in real life knows that I do this, and no one on the internet knows who I am. And that, to me, is the most beautiful thing, because I could just walk away from this tomorrow.
Yeah, and wash your hands in it.
Yeah, and I could just, you know, be a normal person. If I eventually, like, take off my mask, you know, even with just, like, 18,000 subscribers on YouTube, that's, you know, those people would be like, they would know me for the rest of my life. And it's like, yikes and ew. And also, like, I want to represent more people than just myself. It makes it so easy to do that when you're wearing a costume. You know, forget the whole thing, like, I have to protect the people closest to me. It's like, no, it's not about that in the real world, you know.
Right.
It's just about doing something that has nothing to do with your actual identity, you know, because then fame leaks in, and that's not what you want. So.
Yeah, I mean, I revealed my identity, but honestly,
But we do different things. That's
exactly. That's what I was just about to say. You know, it's just doesn't matter for me. You know, fucking, I don't need to be secretive. I just wanted to keep it separate at first, but then, you know, some shit happened, and then I just stopped. So, yeah. What about you, Human Spider? Oh, what the hell is this?
What was that?
You're good now, I think.
But yeah, Human Spider. What is your reasoning for your anonymity? I said, what would your reason be for wanting to be anonymous? Mainly, not you know.
Well, mainly, I guess I don't know. I kind of want this to be like kind of like what the the amazing said. I like the idea that I can just drop this like whenever, and I can live my life normally. I I really I also don't like the attention really. I'm just kind of doing this because I think it's fun. Mainly like the YouTube videos.
I mean, to
and
be
all
completely
that,
honest, though,
fun.
with both of you, even though my identity is known, like people really don't hit me up on my personal shit. I mean, that's just me personally, and I'm also not as big as you guys, but yeah, people don't really fucking. If anybody wants to talk to me about the blood spider shit, they hit me up usually on it.
It's honestly not that important to me about people on the internet.
Yeah,
I
in your
care
real
about
life,
people in my. I don't want their image of me
Right.
to change because
Yeah.
I am who I am to them, and I
Oh,
like
yeah.
who I am to them. You know.
Yeah, but sorry to cut you off. You mean go ahead?
Yeah, you guys kind of said it. But yeah, I like to keep things separate. I like in real life, I'm a pro. I guess even on on YouTube, I'm a quiet
Yeah, on
person.
YouTube, you're silent.
Yeah. 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 No, I like my work to speak.
See, I don't think I have a good
But
voice to talk.
but
Like,
yeah.
at least not.
I think.
At least
I
not
think
on
you-
like.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm just really not good at explaining shit, and I think it's because I smoke too much weed. You know, I just kind of get.
You're definitely better than me, and
I think you're good at it, boy. I don't
Yeah,
think
I've been thinking about starting to talk.
Yeah,
and,
you're good.
You know, kind of. But the thing is, like,
Mhm.
I wish fucking I can like break down everything in my videos and like explain everything and explain all the fucking chemistry and ratios and why I'm doing what and you know what worked and what didn't work. Like I wish I can like literally go into depth and explain all this shit and have like literally a open source like compilation of web shooter information and tests and you know all this stuff accessible, but I can't because motherfuckers just want to keep taking all this shit.
Why?
Yeah.
So, but
yeah.
I mean, that's
Oh.
that's why I wanted to make my Discord kind of like how I made it, where it's all like you know super organized and like there's all billion chats for everything, all you know separated. It's because you know I wanted it to be a bigger part of the community where you know it can be private because nobody gets in that fucking server unless I say so, and
Yeah.
yeah, you know it's just a private place where we can share it and nobody's gonna steal it because I told everybody that was in there if you use something of somebody else's that you see in this and you don't get any credit, we are going to do our best to blacklist you from this community, and you know.
Yeah.
That's just take it as whatever kind of threat that they want to take it, but that's just you know it's bullshit. I'm not letting anybody do that, you know, in a fucking group where in a chat where I say that you know it's okay to post your shit, you know. But you know,
Yeah.
it's I mean I've already had to kick a couple people out of that fucking server because yeah, there was this
Really?
dude CHS Spider-Man or whatever. And he actually bought his way in because then my Patreon there's the $5 shit to get access to. It's not the full Discord, but they get access to the Patreon section of the Discord, so they can talk to me and you know shit like that. But they can't see like any of like the web fluid recipes or anything like that that's in there. But he paid for the Discord and he wanted to buy the fluid recipes off of me. So I told him, yeah, you know, sure thing. But, you know, when you got to keep this information private to yourself, you know, don't share my formula with anybody. Don't post the ingredients. Feel free to, you know, make test videos of you shooting it and stuff like that and using it. You know, that I don't care about. Just don't show any of the ingredients. You know, give me credit for the formula and whatever. That's all I care about. Use it to your fucking heart's content. You know, and he, you know, was totally cool with that. And then, you know, I let him come in the Discord and everything. He was talking to people, showing off his suits and everything. Well, then, exactly what happened, I didn't read all of it, but I guess like a swinging debate came up about, you know, the practicality of it versus the non-practicality of it, and yada yada. And he kind of like started like snapping off, and then he started saying shit like, you know, what we were talking about, like saying that he, you know, has disarmed gunmen before, and fucking he's gonna use my formula to go, you know, continue to fight crime and shit like that. And I'm like, oh.
And we're back.
Motherfucker.
What happened?
I don't know. It just stopped. I have no idea what happened.
Our episode's limited to 1 hour, maybe?
No, our last one was for like an hour and 45 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes this thing just tweaks, man. It's got a mind of its own.
Well, welcome back to episode 17, part 12.
Yeah, for real,
Yep.
motherfucking. Actually, this is episode
Like 8.
no, I think this is 9.
How is it?
I was halfway. I was twice. I was twice there.
Yeah, this is 8. Or I mean, I'm sorry, this is 9. This is 9.
Cool.
But yeah,
Hey, this dude
huh?
This dude on your Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So this dude on my Discord server, you know, he started talking about like how he disarms fucking gunmen, and that he was going to use my formula to go fight crime, and you know, all this shit. So I was, you know, like, oh, okay, well, that's what that's about. And I found out that he was like my age, and I'm like, yo.
Damn.
So yeah, I let pretty much his membership run out, and I didn't let him refund or whatever. You know how Patreon makes you fucking like every month it'll charge you. I took him off of that, and then yeah.
You can block people from that. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. You go into your it's in your settings. It's in
I mean, I haven't had any problems yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I've actually had a couple problems with people.
Mm-hmm.
I had one person try and like scam it or something.
Really?
Like, I don't know if they tried to use like a fake card or something, but it actually like froze my account for like 2 days.
Damn.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I don't know what happened, but they said that there was some kind of fraudulent try on, or there was some kind of like fraudulent attempt on one of my tiers or something. And I'm like, what? And then yeah, they froze my account for like, I think it was like 32 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, man, people are some conniving ass motherfuckers.
It's dumb, man. It's dumb. Why? I have to believe that people aren't just like this for no reason, you know.
But dude, like, what I don't understand is like everything I learned how to do, I either learned from you guys or fucking Brain Ion, or just I have my research came from where other people have gone already. That's where I started, and then I like literally just tried on my own. Like people hit me up like I'm this like master chemist in something. Like what?
Yeah, it's mostly trial and error.
Yeah.
Like,
that's all it is.
There's already a foundation. People just don't want to put in the work.
No, yeah, that is exactly what it is.
People will ask me questions in the comments of my video.
Yep.
And it will be a question that you will know the answer if you watch
the video, yeah.
Part of my videos, you know. It's like, hi, can I have formula, please? It's like, bruh, I literally say it like in like several of my videos. I have a tutorial, for Christ's sake. It's like a popular video. Like,
what I thought was hilarious, I seen this comment on one of HS's videos. It was on the homecoming one, your first one. It was somebody
Like the test video?
No, the build video of you making it.
No, but were they asking about a test video? Or... I recently got some comments like that saying, "Where's the test video at?" And I'm like, "It's on my channel." Like,
I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah.
But no, this was on the same video. It was on your build one, and somebody posted, "Will you make a tutorial for this one?"
Yeah, and it's like, oh
and it's like God. You're literally watching it right now. You commented on it, bro. Or with this, somebody watched one of my podcast. It was my podcast with Spider Slayer, and they commented on it like, "Oh, that's what the human spider sounds like." And I'm like, no, that's what Spider Slayer sounds like. And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome. I've been watching Human Spider for the longest time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this is Spider Slayer."
Guys, we're all just being trolled by like a bunch of people.
Dude.
Yeah, it's the most conspiratorial thing I've ever said.
I know.
No, but that would make so much sense, honestly. Gosh.
Jeez.
No,
but that Spider Slayer though,
Spider Slayer's he's the tits, man. He's awesome.
I don't know him that well.
Dude, he's cool.
Instagram guy.
Yeah. He kind of just came out of nowhere, but he knows what's good, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he's got some great design skills that are like on par with some of the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or some stuff's even better that I felt like, when I saw some of his designs, I was kind of like, I feel like I would have come up with this, dude, but like I didn't.
He's the metal you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider Slayer.
He's like if we had a baby, like.
Yeah,
that'd be him.
Yeah, boy. He's the combination of human spider and the blood spider.
Yep.
Got all your great fucking engineering and technological benefits and all my metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's a really good guy. Everybody that's listening, make sure you go check him out too, because random plug for Spider Slayer.
I know he's working on that thing with you guys, and the thing that I have time for but don't have time for.
Honestly, you guys been doing all the work. I haven't really done much with that.
Well, HS has been doing a lot.
Yeah, I'm like the kid in class working with in the group project that's just like looking on everybody's paper and like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
But you guys you've definitely helped with like helping me. You've helped me come up with ideas and you've given me inspiration. Which honestly, like without that, I wouldn't have been able to do much, really.
Well, I'm glad I can at least help in that.
It's a big help, trust me.
And I can be your testing guy too.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't have the web fluid for this, which is like what the amazing reminds me of constantly. That's the real test.
Yeah,
it really is, though. I mean,
yeah, it is.
Well, how I like to do it, I like to test every web shooter, like kind of going up the ranks. Like I start off with just butane, then I'll try butane and water, then I'll try like a shaving cream fluid to test like something viscous going through it. Then I'll try just R134A and see how it holds up on the pressure of just that, and then I'll go with the web fluid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's good. You should document that. Just
I mean, I usually do
videos. Yeah,
I usually do.
Now I just go straight to the web fluid.
Yeah. No, honestly, like I have been too. Just like find out if it works or not, and if it doesn't, then tweak it and try and make it work. Oh my God, I was having a problem with these the preform soda bottles.
Oh,
the lids that came with them. They're made out of this shitty ass fucking plastic. And Spider Slayer actually fucking told me to use Coke bottle caps because they're the HDP plastic or whatever. And then and then they actually have like this film underneath the cap that like acts like a gasket. So like you don't even need any like Teflon or anything with these motherfuckers, especially with the silly string formula, because that's a good amount of pressure, especially when it gets like room temp, and it I honestly didn't really expect it to be able to hold it, but it did. And
It did, yeah.
yeah, just, I kind of had to go heavy with the epoxy, and I had to use some, the yellow JB Weld, the yellow and gray one.
Yeah, and it looks like it worked out great when you guys tested them, right?
Yeah. I just love that you can shoot up with them vertically. They're so awesome. I made 2 different cartridges, one with the straw and one without, so you can, choose. But shooting up is like, it has a lot of power going up. Like, it can shoot well over my head. Whoa. Yeah, those are fun little cartridges. I actually have like a bunch filled up right now because I was gonna just like I was kind of doing it on Instagram last night. Just kind of posting like a bunch of tests, and I was just gonna do like a YouTube, just like a super mash of web fluid shots with like 20 of those cartridges.
Yeah, those cartridges are nice. I really like shooting that web shooter. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It feels like the old toy, man. Like, for real. Like, it feels like I'm a little kid again playing with that thing.
Yeah. It's really cool that you can make that. It really is just like that.
Yeah. It's literally like the cool adult version of that.
Yeah, because
that's what I was aiming for.
Yeah. Hit the nail on the head, bro. You got that. But yeah. How do you guys feel about getting ready to close out?
I think we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A long one.
It's a long one. Yeah, this is gonna be a heavy edit.
Oh boy.
It's all right. There's actually not much I want to edit out, so it's actually pretty good. We had a lot of good combos in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
All right.
Did everything record, even with all our technical difficulties?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to mash all these together and then edit so it makes it sound like it fucking didn't do that. But yeah, it's Pro Tools, man. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't use Pro Tools. It's just a stupid Metalocalypse joke that nobody understands but me. But yeah, all right. So let me do this fucking outro. Thank you for joining us this week on Bloodcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels. We have The Amazing. He has his YouTube channel, his Discord, and his Patreon. Be sure to check those out. And then Human Spider has his YouTube channel, his Patreon, and his Instagram. So be sure that you get on those. Support these guys, please, because if you guys care about anything of the web shooter community being advanced, it's definitely going to be with the 2 of these geniuses. So please support them. Give them some money because they deserve it. And watch their channels and continue to watch my podcasts. You can follow me on any kind of streaming service. You got Spotify. You got Apple Play. You got Apple Podcasts. You got Pandora, you got YouTube, you got Anchor, you got whatever. What else is there? I don't know. But I'm on everything. You can follow me on whatever while you're at it. Tell your friends about my show. I'm the Blood Spider. Join this weekend with The Amazing and the Human Spider. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being my returning guests. First ever ones. This was an awesome show.
Yeah. I really enjoyed being here. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. It was great. It was. I don't think. Yeah, we've never all talked on one single call before.
No.
Just individual. Okay.
We all rarely like actually talk on the phone. It's usually messages anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was awesome. And then hopefully maybe next Bloodcast we can get Symbiote's host on here.
That would be great.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Can have a nice 4-way. But all right, I am the Blood Spider, joined with these 2 geniuses, the juggernauts of the community, The Amazing and the Human Spider. Thank you guys again. I'm the Blood Spider, and thank you for watching.